The offseason is officially behind us, and season 14 of Thunder basketball in Oklahoma City is officially here. We are bringing you Media Day from inside of Paycom Center, and we are opening up season 3 of the Thunder basketball universe presented by COOP Ale Works. We're here on the floor. As you can see here, players will be rotating throughout these various stations throughout the day, posing for pictures, videos, going through interviews as well. And of course, they will certainly be stopping by to talk to our crew as well. Speaking of our crew, I'm Paris Lawson, joined alongside, as always, pod partner Nick Gallo and fellow sideline reporter. We also have TV play-by-play Chris Fisher with us as well. Guys, this is an exciting day, and I have to say, after the craziness of last season, it is so nice to have a little bit of normalcy with Media Day.
It's great to just be back in the building, and this is such a familiar moment. It's the first day of school for Thunder players, for us Thunder media folks as well. The guys get to come through all sorts of stations. You see behind us, they've got stations for Bally Sports Oklahoma. Next to us is the events and entertainment crew. The guys will be filtering through a lot of these different areas to get some of those great shots that you need. Our events and entertainment staff, they're planning a lot of really new, fun, exciting stuff for the new season here inside Paycom Center with fans coming back in the building. And then, of course, you got all the stations that we usually hang out at, our digital media and broadcast stations where we get those in-depth interviews with the guys.
I don't know about you guys, but the first thought that came to my mind coming into the arena today was we are going to have fans back inside here come preseason and come in the regular season. And it just brought so much joy to me because we've seen fans start to come back into these arenas, come back into these stadiums. The NBA did it toward the tail end of last year. We saw fans back in baseball stadiums over the summer. Football stadiums are packed, and now the NBA is going to get back into the mix for the regular season. And I think that we all just missed that emotion. And I think that we all missed how much they mean to the Thunder, how much they mean to sports in general. And for me, it just gave me a huge sense of joy, knowing that the next time we come into Paycom Center, that this place is going to be packed.
And you just look at the playoffs and the last couple years and the huge difference there was between the bubble down in Orlando and then in the playoffs last year where the buildings are just packed and the crowd is crazy and having an impact on the game. Paris, I know, when we're standing on the sidelines and we're trying to hear ourselves think, it's a little bit different when the fans are in there, but it's that energy that gets you going and carries you throughout the night and helps you be on your game too.
There's a reason why they earned that nickname Loud City up here. It gets loud, it gets crazy, and that is something that is recognized around the league as well. That's one of the things I will really be interested to hear when we get players here to talk about what they're looking forward to in terms of having fans back in this building.
Well, Chris, one of the fascinating things is there's only a handful of guys that are on this Thunder roster who have been able to play inside Paycom Center with fans in the building. So we'll get to talk to some of those players. You think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mike Mascala, Lou Dort, Darius Baisley. But, besides that, a lot of these players are in their first or second year in the league or are veterans like Derek Favors who have been on the receiving end of some of that noise from the OKC crowd.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think of some of the newer players from last year, like Alexei Pokazewski, who's never played in front of fans inside an NBA arena. That's going to be a whole new experience to go along with the rookies like Jeremiah Robinson, Earl, Trey Mann, some of those guys that they played in college environments, but there's nothing quite like going into an NBA arena night in and night out and kind of having that energy and what that means to perform on a nightly basis. So not only for the rookies, but even last year's rookies are also going to get their first taste.
Yeah, well, Paris, you and I, when we were in Las Vegas for Summer League, guys like Trey Mann, rookies, talked about kind of having to get their feet back up under them again, playing in front of any fans at all. It had been 2 years since a lot of those guys had even seen fans in the building while they were playing.
Well, the good thing here is that when there weren't fans in the building, the guys had to learn how to create their own energy, right? We heard that a lot about the mental toughness it took to be able to create that energy within your own group. You had to rely on the guys on the bench bringing that energy and that hype. And now you have that in your toolkit. Now you add in 18,000 fans into the building. That should be really, really exciting for a lot of these young guys as well.
And as a broadcaster, does it give you a little extra energy too?
No doubt about it. I mean, that's what you come to these games for. That's what kind of the community aspect of all of this is. We talk about just during the pandemic what has been lost in our society, and some of that is that connection and the ability to come together as a community. And we know Oklahoma City has such tight bonds around this city, and so to be able to get 18,000 people back in the building and be able to do that in a safe way is really, really special.
Really looking forward to that. But guys, I want to get your opinion on this. And obviously you talked about the excitement of Media Day and just having that first day of school vibe. How about training camp? It's right around the corner. It starts tomorrow for these guys. What do you, Chris, talking to you here, what's that vibe when you go into training camp? What are these guys feeling?
Well, I think that today is also an important day just because it gets you in the right mindset of, hey, the season is going to be right around the corner. And I think that there's a lot of anticipation for these guys in getting to know their teammates. Guys like Vít Krejcik, who could not practice with the team last year.
Right.
He was literally sitting in the stands and watching games, but because of COVID protocols wasn't able to really participate a whole lot. And to just have the full incorporation of team and opportunity and going and competing, because these practices are so important, where you have installation, you go hard, you scrimmage, you get into game shape. Coaches, players, front office people will tell you that these are probably some of the most important practices of the entire season because there's so much preparation involved. And to get everybody in that environment again, and to get everybody here again, I think it is really important, but it's also really exciting for everybody.
I think about the two rookies from last year, Alexei Pokazewski, Teo Maledon. Those guys had no real window between when they were drafted and when they had to go into training camp, which was a weird and strange training camp. This offseason must have felt like forever for those guys. and I just think, I mean, they came in, they were living out of a hotel when they first got to Oklahoma City, and everything was under lock and key. And now having an opportunity to be out in Las Vegas with the Summer League guys and be in town and just get to know one another a little bit better, I think the level of comfort is going to really shine through.
You mentioned that Summer League. There is a little ounce of normalcy in terms of what the guys were able to do during this offseason. It was still a shorter offseason than your standard NBA offseason, but they still got to do the Summer League. There will be a full training camp. These aren't just valuable for players. They're valuable for the staff as well. And there are a lot of new faces on this roster, a lot of young guys, and everybody that comes into the organization, Coach Dagnall mentions all the time, you have a blank slate. And in order for the coaching staff to get a grasp on these guys, they have to have those touch points. So having this Summer League, having training camp, it's really valuable for everybody within the organization.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And so I guess that formula is normal equals comfort. And comfort equals playing well, I would assume. And just the normalcy that you're talking about, Paris, I think that we're all starting to feel it. Even just coming here into Media Day, for us, it feels normal. It feels like you're getting back into that routine. I can only imagine what that feeling is like for the players to get back to their routine.
Absolutely. And Paris, I want to pick up on kind of what you were saying about this being a baseline opportunity for the players and the coaches and the talent evaluators and everyone. And it kind of reminds me of something that Sam Presti said last week in his beginning of season media availability, just about this being the opportunity to learn more about each of these players and figure out who's going to be a part of this Thunder organization long term, and really give these guys an opportunity to spread their wings, to make mistakes, but also find their groove, figure out who they are as players and what their NBA skills are that they can bring to the table on a night in, night out basis.
Well, Gallo, you talk about the normalcy. We're talking normalcy here. You were at draft day, and this is something that obviously wasn't able to happen in the previous year. Being in person in the draft, you saw Josh Giddey walk across that stage. What was that like in Barclays Center to have that little bit of back to normal in the NBA?
Well, you know, it's funny. This is my 10th season with the Thunder. That was actually my first time going to the draft. Typically, I'll stay here in Oklahoma City, be there for Sam Presti's press conference. But this year, we shook it up a little bit, and I went up to New York City. Thunder had the 6th pick in the draft, and it was surreal to just be there in the building, an event. I mean, Chris, both of you, I watched the draft every single year since I was like 5 years old. And it was great to be there in that moment where lives were changing. After the draft, I got to sit down with Josh briefly and just have a really nice chat. Thunder fans are going to absolutely love this kid. Incredibly nice, genuine guy that loves basketball. And I got to meet his family too, and they are thrilled about him being selected by OKC.
There was nobody chattier than Josh Giddey on draft night.
Right.
And we can ask him about that because hopefully he'll be coming out here. But he was as excited as anybody I think I've seen in years after he got his name called.
Yeah, I mean, big beaming smile. You know, he had the Navy suit on, and he was ready to go for all his
shoe
interviews.
Choice.
Exactly, yeah. But he was just over the moon, and he's talked about this. And I did a feature story on him for OKCThunder.com, actually, about sort of the ways in which he worked with his agent to try to get to OKC the best way that he could. You see the shots of him there standing up, hugging his family, big high fives and hugs, and about to walk across the stage. He told me that in this moment, he blacked out. He really had no idea what happened. After he heard his name called and after he walked up onto the stage is when he started to recollect a little bit more.
I can only imagine at the age that he's at, teenager at the moment, still just uncovering his game and going into the NBA. This is a dream come true for him. So I completely understand blacking out right there in that moment. But the thing that stuck out to me was his whole family was there. They traveled all the way from Australia to be there with him, and comes from a big line of professional basketball players as well.
Right, and he's got experience going up against grown men already. Chris, I want to ask you, where do you see him sort of fitting in with this Thunder roster right now? Some of the skills that he has and what he can do.
Well, it fits what we started to see glimpses of last season, and that was expanding people's games, expanding players' games, putting a guy like Lou Dort in a ball handling situation. Well, he's got a wide array of skills, and it's going to fit perfectly for what this organization is trying to do, and that is have 5 players on the floor who are extremely versatile all at the same time, who have a wide array of a skill set and can beat you in a variety of different ways. So I think that he fits that, especially with his ball handling skills, his size, his ability to be a point guard, his ability to be a wing, and I think that that's something that we're going to see grow and blossom as the season goes on.
Well, it looks like we're joined by our first player, Gabby Deck.
Yeah,
Oh,
wonderful,
okay.
wonderful.
Absolutely.
We've got a translator here
Got
on
a
site.
translator.
Yeah.
So, first things first, Gabriel, how are you doing today? How is Media Day?
Very good. Contento por estar aquí de vuelta.
Very happy to be back here in the arena.
What do you think about, Gabriel, what do you think about just the 10 games of experience that you got at the NBA level and being able to build on that now in year 2?
¿Qué piensas de los primeros 10 juegos que tuviste en la NBA y cómo vas a crecer después de eso?
Bueno, la verdad que estuve muy contento. Llegué en la última etapa. Contento con mis compañeros, con el equipo y con el trabajo realizado ahí. Así que espero trabajar y seguir mejorando.
Yeah, he says, I'm very happy that I got to experience the last 10 games of the season. Very happy with the progress, the team, the players. They've all been very receiving, and we're getting ready to work for another season.
And Gabby, in those 10 games, it seemed like you had a tremendous amount of confidence. Obviously, you have professional experience in the past, but how were you able to translate that confidence from your previous experience and bring it to the NBA?
Dice que en los últimos 10 juegos llegaste con mucha confidencia, que te sentías muy a gusto jugando. ¿Cómo pasó eso, que llegaste de una liga diferente y aquí a la NBA y no tuviste problemas?
Bueno, creo que por mis compañeros y todo el plantel que me recibió de la mejor manera y enseguida me insertaron al grupo y al equipo, se debe a ellos la confianza, así que estoy muy agradecido a ellos.
Yeah, he says he couldn't have done it without this team. He said the welcoming from the Thunder organization and the teammates has been amazing, and from day one, they welcomed him, they showed him around, and they were able to accomplish what they did because of the team effort.
Gabby, I got to ask you, what was it like representing Argentina at the Olympics and getting to go back home to Argentina after having worn an NBA jersey?
¿Cómo te sentiste representando a Argentina en las Olimpiadas y después regresar a Argentina enseñando que traes una jersey de la NBA?
Bueno, la verdad que muy feliz, contento siempre de representar al equipo nacional, ¿no? Que es el sueño de todo chico cuando comienza. Y más aún sabiendo que estaba en el equipo de la NBA con mis compañeros de la mejor manera, obviamente ellos contentos y felices y todos felices.
Yeah, he says it's a child's dream to represent your country in the Olympics. So for him, it was unspeakable. It was a great time, and most importantly, his teammates were so proud of him representing not only his country but also the NBA now.
You got some work in with the national team during the off season. What else have you been working on? What have you been focusing on in your game?
Estuviste trabajando con el equipo nacional durante este verano, pero ¿qué más has hecho para ser un mejor jugador?
Bueno, después de los Juegos Olímpicos llegué aquí a Oklahoma también, unas semanas después para seguir trabajando y mejorando en lo físico, en el lanzamiento, tratar de mejorar y sumar día a día, ¿no?
He says after the Olympics, he came back here and he's been training at the facilities for several weeks now, strength training and a lot of vision for the next season.
You, Gabby, just seem to do all the hard work on the floor, the dirty work. How much is physicality a part of your game and the ability to be physical out there on the floor?
Dice que mucho de tu juego es físico, que tú eres conocido como un jugador que usas tu cuerpo demasiado. ¿Qué tanto trabajo tienes que poner para poder tener ese tipo de rendimiento?
Bueno, mucho, durante todos los días, ¿no? Tratar de trabajar y mejorar, como decía recién, esos aspectos, ¿no? Para poder estar mejor ahí en el campo y después tratar de mejorar lo que es con la pelota, ¿no?
Yeah, he says it's a tough field, but it's a day-to-day work. They're working out every day and putting in the strength, but it's activity that goes day to day, and they're looking forward to it.
Gabby, was there a moment in those 10 games last season, albeit brief, where you had a realization maybe at all that you realized that you could play in the NBA and be a contributor in the NBA?
Durante esos últimos 10 juegos de la temporada, ¿tuviste algún momento en donde te diste cuenta que podrías jugar en la NBA, que en realidad es donde perteneces?
Sí, bueno, creo que mi sentido cómodo, que era lo más importante, que era lo que quería, sentirme cómodo en la cancha, poder estar contento, a gusto con mis compañeros y con todo el equipo. He logrado eso y ahora sigo trabajando para tratar de estar aquí en esta liga, ¿no?
Yeah, he said the most important thing was for him to get comfortable on the court, but more importantly with his teammates. He said as soon as he achieved that after the first couple of games, then it was all just in his mind, and now he's ready for another season.
Well, we look forward to seeing you play, Gabriel. Thank you so much for your time.
Muchas
you.
gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
That's Gabriel Deck, our first player to join us here on our Thunder Basketball Universe live stream presented by COOP Ale Works. And guys, Media Day is now in full effect. We hear basketballs bouncing in the background and camera lights are flashing. Things are rolling now.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Gabby Deck. I know we didn't get a long look at him there at the end of the season. There's all sorts of reasons why it took a while during a pandemic to get him into the United States and onto the Thunder roster officially. But this is a guy who, at the wing spot, he can play bigger than his size, but he can also play make and put the ball on the deck. Chris, what did you see from him?
Well, you had the word that you brought up to him that I think really showed in those 10 games, and he was physical. He was not pushed around. Sometimes if you're unfamiliar with the NBA level and sort of the speed and the pace, you can kind of get lost a little bit, and he was not lost. He knew where he wanted to go with the basketball. He knew what he wanted to do with the basketball, and we saw him dictate things at times because of his comfort level at the professional level. And I think that was fun to see, and I think that we all want to see a little bit more.
Well, it looks like we've got another guest here with us, Paul Watson Jr. Welcome to Oklahoma City.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
How's Media Day going for you so far? You got yourself to a couple different stations here?
Yeah, it's been cool so far. Just seeing all the different stations and getting to meet everybody, it's been cool.
You signed a two-way contract with the Thunder. What excites you most about this opportunity ahead of you this season?
Just coming in and trying to play as hard as I can, for my team, for my guys, and for this city. New opportunity for me, new environment. I'm just eager to get to work and have a good season.
Paul, you've been an example of perseverance here over the last couple of years, being undrafted out of Fresno State and then having to sort of battle your way through the G League and at times breaking through at the NBA level. But what's keeping you motivated and what ultimately brought you here to OKC?
The work, just putting in the work summer in, and, knowing that I belong in this league and, I have a role in this league and just continuing to, stay faithful, true to that. And, Oklahoma City is a great place. Really get behind their team. I've seen that since, just being here 3 weeks now. The fan base is really great. So I saw, a great opportunity and was eager to get at it.
It had to feel good to drop 30 against Orlando last year, right?
Yeah, it was a good night for
All
me.
right.
Good night.
You've just had such a wide variety of experiences. Chris mentioned a number of them. I want to ask you about, you played in Germany, right? What was that like, and how did that maybe help shape you and your game moving forward?
Coming out of college, I did go early for a couple of months, and I feel like it really made me develop and grow as a man early. Going into a different culture, different country by yourself, you learn a lot of things. You learn a lot about yourself, and I felt it made me a better man, but also a better basketball player.
Do you find any foods or things that you didn't have ever tried before that you really liked there?
I did. I came across a couple of things. I won't necessarily say that I liked them because I'm a pretty picky eater, but I did venture out a little bit and try to embrace the culture.
Obviously, you haven't had much time here in Oklahoma City, but what have been your first impressions of the organization and the city as a whole?
All great people, very open arm, welcome environment, and they really just want to see the best for you. They really want to help you develop and be the best player that you can be, and I really appreciate that. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to getting to work and winning some games.
You have spent some time in the G League. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from your time there that are going to help you in this opportunity you have with the Thunder?
Just being hungry. I feel like that's what that league has definitely always been about. Not being complacent and happy with your situation. So just being hungry and, wanting more for yourself.
Paul, more and more the league is kind of moving to positionless basketball. You yourself on the wing. How do you see yourself fitting into that and sort of the versatility that teams are looking for on the floor?
Like you said, positionless basketball, I could do a lot of different things on the floor, guard 1 through 4, and, just being able to stretch the floor, make shots, attack the basket, make plays for other guys. So, being able to do all those things can really help me, not only myself, but help the team. So.
I know Thunder fans, OKC Blue fans are going to be looking forward to seeing you out on the floor this year. Thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of Media Day.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Appreciate you
Appreciate
guys
it.
having me.
Paul Watson Jr. joining us on our live stream today. Throughout Media Day, players will continue to flow through our set right now, getting a chance to talk to these guys on the first day of school, realistically, for these guys, Media Day. And right now, we're joined by another player, and this is not a new player to the Thunder. This is Mike Mascala, who's a friend of the podcast at this point.
That's right.
Muskie.
Hey,
Mike
what's
Mascala, thanks so much for sitting down. Mike, how has your offseason been? Obviously, signing a new contract with the Thunder. You're going to be back this season. How was your offseason?
It was great. It was a long off season. Spent some good time in Minnesota with family. Spent some good time here working out with the team, and went out to Vegas for Summer League for a couple of days for that too. So it was great.
Yeah, how did that get organized? All you guys going out, was that sort of a spontaneous thing, or did you guys organize it together that you were going to go out and support some of those new players out in Vegas?
Yeah, the Coach Mark kind of organized it for us, and there was also a little team mini camp in Austin. I didn't make that one, but it was cool. We played some pickup games out there. I caught one of the games for the Summer League. The guys did great out there, so it was fun.
That was one of the images of the summer, of like 10 of you guys sitting courtside right across from the bench, and it's such a strong show of support. And I think this is something that you've really tapped into over the last couple years, of just how tight the bonds are within this team, within this locker room. What's been the key to cultivating that during a very, very difficult time to do that?
Yeah, I think Summer League is a great opportunity to do that. You have the guys who have just been drafted. They're out there in front of fans and trying to implement the system and organizational values that you have. And to have guys who have been on the team for a year or two already come out there and support them, I think was good for them, and it was good for us to be able to meet them and then just to start collaborating together.
You are certainly one of the most important leaders on this team. How do you view your role in sort of trying to get that locker room camaraderie going throughout the course of this upcoming 82-game season?
Yeah, just, I think it's a daily thing, just putting in the work, using my voice more. I'm excited for that challenge this year, being consistent and controlling what I can, and helping relate that to the team. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs throughout the season, like there are every season, but there are a lot of things we can control and things we can hold each other accountable for, so focusing on those.
Muskie, you had an emotional Zoom session toward the end of last season where you started to reflect a little bit on your time here in Oklahoma City and with this organization. Tell us what it meant to you to come back here, and what this city and what this team has meant to you and part of the reasoning why you decided to come back.
Yeah, it means a lot to me coming back here, me and my family, and super grateful for the opportunity this season and for the last 2 seasons. Just coming here after being traded a few times and bouncing around, it was a tough time, like I said in the interview, but looking back, super grateful for it. So really pumped for this season. I think it's going to be really fun, and excited to have fans back in the building too.
You were talking about fans back in the building. We were talking about it off the top of the show. You're one of the guys who's experienced Loud City at full capacity. If you were explaining to a rookie what that environment is like, what would you tell him?
It's very supportive. It's fun. It's loud, like you said. It's going to be a stark contrast to last season here, where it was, they were just pumping in fan noise. So to be able to see faces, to interact, I'm really excited for that, and I know the young guys will have a great time and be supported well.
Mike, you've got your pick and pop partner back. SGA will be back on the floor, and I'm just curious, how does that make you feel, and especially as you're trying to craft an identity on the floor as a team, to be more whole heading into the beginning of this season?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, Shea's a heck of a player, and playing with him in the 2-man game, setting screens for him is really fun. And we got a lot of great players on this team, great young playmakers, ball handlers. That makes it fun for a big man, and a lot of good big guys too that can put the ball on the floor, that can shoot, that can rebound, that can drive, that can post up. So it's going to be fun.
Mike, what's it like to be sort of in this revolutionary age of big men and centers? You talk about the pick and pop with SGA, and it's a play that is your bread and butter. But you are kind of at the cutting edge here in that position of stepping out, launching threes, and making threes. It's got to be kind of exciting being one of those guys that is so pivotal to modern-day NBA.
Yeah, I mean, this offseason, though, I've challenged myself to obviously continue shooting, but to get back to some of the more blue-collar things of a big man, offensive rebounding, running the floor, and posting up from time to time too. I think there are times within the offense that it does help. So, but just getting the offense going, and I think that's what a stretch big or 5 really should be doing. You're shooting, but you're also being able to pop and roll, and then spray the ball out and get the ball moving and get the offense going.
Really just helping everything be so cohesive out there on the floor from your spot. Mike, thanks so much for joining us today. Enjoy all the rest of the stations that you got here today.
Yeah, thanks so much. Great to see you all.
All right,
Good to see you, Mike.
Good to
Thank
see
you. Media Day continues. That was Mike Mascala, a veteran on this Thunder roster. We're getting a chance to talk to all the guys here today throughout Media Day, getting a chance to see them on their first day in this Thunder uniform this upcoming season. And we just got done talking to a vet. How about a rookie with Aaron Wiggins? Aaron, welcome to Media Day. First things first, what is this day like for you as a rookie through your eyes? How are you feeling right now?
I'm just feeling really energetic and excited. First media day as a rookie, and I'm just excited to get some nice pictures and videos. So.
I know you wore the Summer League jersey, and you probably worn some practice jerseys. Is this your first time in the full uniform setup? How does this feel?
Yeah, it feels crazy, kind of walking into the locker room and seeing my jersey all set up and my name on the locker and everything. So it's just a blessing. I'm excited to be here and, looking forward to the rest of the day.
Now, you said that when you were sort of watching the draft on draft night, you got to pick number 50 and you're starting to feel a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
But you had confidence that the Thunder were going to take you.
Sure.
How does that nervousness compare to the nervousness going into training camp?
Yeah, the nervousness is a little bit different just because on draft night, it's really just like up and down. You don't know where you're going to be. You don't know how things could pan out. But going into training camp, going into practices in the season, you feel as though you've been preparing. You know what to kind of expect just in terms of having played basketball my entire life. So I'm really excited to kind of get to learning, get to getting acclimated to everything, and just looking forward to everything that I have in front of me.
Yeah, we saw you during Summer League. What have this past 2 months been like for you? The transition from being drafted to now going into training camp. What has this little window been like for you?
Yeah, it's just been a grind, kind of transitioning from moving home into here in Oklahoma, and then also just getting situated, getting acclimated, talking with coaches, with the strength and conditioning coaches, being in the gym day in, day out, 2-3 times throughout the day, and kind of building chemistry, getting to know the players and stuff. So it's been a little bit of a transition, but, everything that I ever asked for, and I'm excited.
Part of getting to know Oklahoma City is something that every Thunder player does when they come here, which is go to the Oklahoma City Memorial.
Yeah.
Will you just tell us about what that experience was like for you going down there?
Yeah, I mean, that was an amazing trip. I think a couple of the rookies who I went with, I think they could all say the same thing. I mean, it was just really informational and, kind of walking through and seeing, what it is that kind of, makes the city so, unified and just that togetherness that comes about Oklahoma City. It was really, cool to kind of learn about it and get an understanding and feel of why the city is the way it is and just learn the history behind it all. So.
Moments like that, being at Summer League, you've spent a lot of time with the other 3 rookies on the club.
For sure.
What's that been like as you guys have all kind of got to know each other here so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool just kind of getting to learn each other's journeys and learn more about each other, personality-wise and everything. I think we're all pretty close, and we've grown to know each other pretty well through Summer League and up into, today. So, we're going to continue to kind of take every day step by step and learn more about each other. I'm sure that's like one of the guys yelling over there, but we're going to continue to just have fun and keep learning about everything that we can, just so that we can become the best players that we can be.
Speaking of your journey, Aaron, I think I read this correctly, that you didn't start playing AAU until your junior year of high school.
Yeah.
Considering how important AAU is for young basketball players, how in the heck did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it was just something that never really interested me and my parents, my family and everything. We felt as though, with the funds and everything, with AAU and the traveling, it was just a lot that came with it. And, it was just nothing that we ever really looked into until I went, my junior year of high school. I had a coach kind of tell me, like, he needs to play AAU. Like, that's where he's going to get a lot of exposure. His opportunities are going to, kind of broaden and everything. And the minute I stepped foot in AAU, we saw a huge difference. And after that point, I kind of told my parents, we got to put my little brothers in AAU. We got to get them started just so they can get that head start, get that experience, and also, build those memories with the group of guys. So.
All right, Aaron, well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time here today. Enjoy your very first media day, first day of school for you.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Thank you,
Thanks
Aaron.
a bunch,
Appreciate
Aaron.
your time.
Yep.
Media Day continues. As you can see, players are starting to file through all of these stations in the arena, on the floor here, taking pictures, videos. We heard players screaming behind us. Guys are really getting ready for this upcoming season. Joining us now, we've got Darius Baisley, who's getting set up right now, getting the headset put on.
Baze was just snapping some pictures with his own personalized Polaroid camera.
I know, it's like
You're getting involved in media day too, aren't you, Baze?
Look at this thing. This
contributing
is like,
content now.
This is like 90s.
Now, you only have
for
so
real.
many pictures in that, so you got to make the most
I know,
out
I
of
got to
it.
choose it
Remember that.
wisely, yeah.
It's not unlimited like your iPhone.
Is it? So this number in here, that's how many I got left?
That's how many you got left.
Oh, I'm
Is
solid.
that the first time you've ever had one of those?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It is. I like it, though.
Old-fashioned camera.
Disposable cameras.
I like it. Old school is like, it's the new school now.
That's right.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Everything's a
The
throwback.
old school's the new
yeah,
school
I
now.
like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Now, Darius, you're entering into your 3rd season, which is crazy to think about, but this was your first full off season. What was that like for you?
It was really good. Put in a lot of good work, especially in the early parts. Put in a great chunk of work. I was telling Coach, like, I'm super excited to get going. They were saying that this off season is relatively shorter than what it usually is, and this feels like it's been going on for ages. I'm ready. Tomorrow, I can't wait. It's like a kid on Christmas. I can't wait to wake up and get going with the team. The off season's kind of been, for me, it feels like forever. But the off season's been really good. Really, really good.
It's kind of funny because I remember you saying that you were looking forward to the start of the regular season after the bubble last year. You could not wait for the regular season to get going in December. So I would assume it's kind of a similar feeling.
Oh, yeah. I love to play basketball. Any time away from the game, it's cool, but I get that itch. I want to get back playing. I want to get back into the flow of things. I'm just addicted to the game.
Two shortest off seasons in NBA history, and he feels like he's been put on the sideline. but Baze, as you get back with the crew here, just how much fun is it to see all your teammates again, the guys that you've really built bonds with over the last couple of years?
It's amazing. It's like the only thing I can really compare it to is like high school, when you have summer vacation and you come back and you see all your friends again.
Can't wait.
I know, and it's been good, to see all the gains and stuff people have made. We play and see the strides everyone's made. You know, and then coming together, just making new memories, new experiences this year. We got, you know, a lot of the same guys back, you know, but then the incoming guys and new guys, you know, it'll be fun to get to know them and just be able to, you know, make them a part of, like, this family.
You know, Bays, the last time we all sat here for a media day, you were actually here. It was your rookie season, 1920, and a lot's happened between now and then. But there's also been a lot of growth on your part personally and professionally. Where would you say the biggest growth has happened for you from the last time we were here to where we are now?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a lot of growing, to be honest with you. You know, on the court, off the court. I mean, 3 years in the league it's not a lot, you know, but I mean, it is because you go through 82 games and it's 82 different experiences, you know, on and off the court, traveling and stuff like that. You know, Coach Mark has helped me tremendously. He's played a big role in my growth, I would say. The biggest thing I would just say is just, you know, consistency, you know, just sticking to it, you know, following through, you know, attacking the agenda, you know, and it's worked for me.
Now, Darius, you were a rookie the last time that there were fans in this arena, full capacity, loud crowd. How much are you looking forward to having fans back in the arena this season?
Man, I can't wait. It's going to be crazy. I can't wait. Man.
You look like a kid looking at a Christmas tree right
now.
now.
Yeah. I mean, I used to see pictures of, like, fans, and it felt like it was, like, 10 years ago. And so I'm getting excited, just, like, picturing everyone in here as we come out and warm up, they call starting lineup, jump ball, everyone standing up until the first basket. Like, I just remember all those traditions, and I can't wait just to get those back going again.
And all last season, you guys had to create your own energy.
Yeah.
How nice will it be to have a crowd behind you now?
Oh, man, it's going to be 10 times better, 10 times louder. I mean, you just can't compare that. You can't replace that either. You know, like, we tried to create our own energy, and, you know, we did a pretty good job of that. But I mean, you can't replace that.
October 24th against Philly, he's gonna be jumping out of his shoes. Bays, your kind of calling card, the thing that you were able to access every night was your energy, your hustle, the physicality on the glass.
Yeah.
I mean, you're built to have that energy, you know, sending it back up to the crowd and receiving it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What about that aspect of your game?
I mean, to me, that's just stuff you can control, stuff that you can rely on and count on every night. And so that's why I feel like it's so important. And I'm trying to make that, you know, an identity, you know, just a thing of mine where no matter what, you know, any given day, any given night, I'm coming with those things.
Well, Bays, we're all looking forward to seeing you on the floor. I know Thunder fans are eager to get back in this building, so Thank you very much. Enjoy all the rest of your stations you got here today.
Don't forget your camera on the ground.
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's right.
I won't.
Priceless.
I would have stepped on it if you didn't say anything.
Thanks so much for your time, Darius. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Media Day continues throughout the arena here in Paycom Center. You are watching the Thunder Basketball Universe live stream presented by COOP Ale Works. And guys, we've talked to a lot of guys so far, getting to know them a little bit more, some new faces on this Thunder roster. But joining us now, not a new face, this is Isaiah Roby, who was on the team last year. Isaiah, welcome in. How are you feeling? This is Media Day, day one. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me.
How was your off season? I mean, you had a pretty busy off season. First things first, you graduated from Nebraska. How was that like for you? What was that emotion getting that degree?
It was big. You know, that was something that, you know, growing up, I always wanted to do. I always wanted to get my degree. Neither of my parents had it, and, you know, they always pushed me and my brothers to all pursue that and, you know, to complete it. So even when I got drafted, you know, that was also always something that I was going to finish. You know, I didn't know exactly when, but I'm glad I did it as soon as I did.
Isaiah, you also, I'm sure, got to go back to your hometown of Dixon, you know, coming off of a season where you started more than half of your games, being the first player to ever be drafted in the NBA from your hometown. What was that like to kind of come home as the crown prince?
Yeah, it was cool. It's funny because, you know, our high school mascot is the Dukes. So, like, we actually have one of our strength coaches. He's from a nearby town, and he's been calling me Duke a lot lately. So he said Prince. That's kind of funny. But it was good. You know, being able to go back home, see my friends and family, like, and people that I just grew up around. I got to go back home and see my little brother graduate high school. So, like, I got to see old teachers and coaches and whatnot. So it's always good to go back home and see where you came from and, kind of see, where your humble beginnings started. And, so I always like going back home.
Isaiah, you did log a ton of games last year, which is a stark contrast to technically your rookie year, which was 2 years ago. So last year, in a lot of ways, had to feel like a rookie year for you, and this would be essentially year 2 from an experience standpoint, correct?
Right. Yeah, 100%. Which is kind of weird now that we have a bunch of guys that are 18, 19, and I'm 23, and I'm kind of looked at as an older guy on this team because, like you said, like last year was my first real experience, and this year's going to feel even different because last year kind of felt like we were almost playing scrimmages in an NBA arena, whereas now, we're going to have fans in here going crazy, and so I'm looking forward to, getting back out there.
Yeah, just tell us about sort of the eagerness to get all of these people back in this building, and, you felt the support of Thunder fans over the last year or so, but it's going to be a completely different deal when they're actually here for you.
For sure. Even just interacting with people out in the public in Oklahoma City and, just the surrounding areas, like everybody's just like, we're excited to get in there. We have the best home court advantage, and I've heard that from not only the fans here, but also my teammates and guys who had played here when they're on other teams. So I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be, the fake crowd noise can't compare. You can't really feel the crowd like you do when you have a real arena full of people.
Well, we got to see a lot of your game last year, and you talked about the experience that you were able to get. What were some of those biggest lessons that you took from that experience last year that you want to kind of build on in this upcoming season?
For sure. Like you said, we had a lot of experiences. We had a good start to the season, I would say. We were playing really well, and, obviously it's a long NBA season. Some injuries happen, trades happen, whatnot. But I think a lot of experiences were earned, and one thing I learned is it's a long season. 82 games. It's a lot of games, a lot of travel on your body. You got to be able to rest. And, I know early on in the season when I wasn't playing the best, I kind of had some up and down games, and I would, kind of take it out of myself, and I would be watching film until 3 in the morning and not getting sleep for the next day. I had a game the next day, and, I had some older teammates and veteran guys tell me, like, that's not good for you. If you're getting 4 hours of sleep because you're procrastinating, you're thinking about what you did wrong or whatnot, you're not going to be able to perform to the best of your ability. So just little things like that, like just learning how to navigate through the NBA world is, that's probably the biggest thing I took from last year.
And you were taking some classes on the side, trying to get that degree. That was a good article about taking that test and then having to guard Jokic on the same day, huh? Rough day for you.
Yeah, that was a tough day. The test did not compare to guarding Jokic, but again, like stuff like that, even being able to not have to worry about finishing the game and then on the flight taking a test also, or stuff like that. Like, that'll be good. I'll get a little bit more sleep this year.
Well, Isaiah, you're just fitting in with the style of play that this team wants to be a part of moving forward, and I know you fit in seamlessly with all your teammates too, so enjoy the rest of your media day. Have a great time getting the band back together. We call it the first day of school, so thanks for joining us and have fun.
Feels like it.
Thanks,
appreciate
Isaiah.
it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaiah.
That was Isaiah Roby joining us here on the live stream. Media Day is still continuing throughout the arena. Guys, it's been great to catch up with these guys on the first day of school. What have you thought, Gallo?
I think, some of the guys just look different. I mean, you can tell, especially these players that are sort of in that 21 to 23 age range, that they're continuing to grow physically. We're seeing growth spurts. A guy like Trey Mann, who's coming to join us right now, he was had a late growth spurt as well in college, and you talked to us, Trey, about just the weight that you were able to put on in college and the height that you gained, and how that made a huge difference for you as you entered sort of your NBA draft dreams.
Mm-hmm. I just felt a lot more comfortable, being taller, being able to make those reads over the defense and things like that. And then the weight gain, I just felt stronger, more comfortable getting to the hole, finishing with contact. I just felt more comfortable.
Yeah, well, you are getting to see some of all your other teammates here. I know you got close with your rookie teammates. What's this day like for you, your very first NBA Media Day?
I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, it's something that you dream about just like draft night. I mean, the media day, the training camps, the first game, all of that stuff is starting to come true. So, I mean, it's a blessing that I'm here, and I'm excited.
Speaking of draft night, in just reading up a little bit about you and how you ended up here with the Thunder, it seemed like you had a good feeling about the organization potentially taking you on draft night. What led to that, and kind of what gave you that confidence?
Just talking to my agents and my team, Florida, they were telling me, like, you know, they were asking about you. They asked this. They were talking about you. And then just knowing that they were at almost every game. I saw Sam at a couple games. So that just let me know that they were, you know, really interested in me. And then when it came close to the time, I felt really confident that I was going to be here.
Well, if we're going to talk about draft night, I think one of the first things we learned about you, Trey, was that you're going to get in the gym. You are a hard worker. You're hungry. You want to get after it. You're a gym rat because you were in the gym at the wee hours of the morning putting up shots right after your name was called in the draft. Where does that drive come from? Where does that hustle and that gym rat in you come from?
Just my love for the game. You know, I just love being in the gym. And that's what it was after the draft. People were talking about going to parties and doing all of that stuff. But, you know, my whole life was being in the gym. So I'm not going to change that because, you know, I made it. So I was just happy to be able to get in the gym and get up some shots.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have a ball in your hand right now, Trey. I mean, it seems like you live with one tucked under your arm. You're a playmaker, and you're a guy that can make things happen off the bounce. How do you hope to kind of implement that into the system that the Thunder has here, where there's a lot of ball movement and sharing?
Yeah, like you said, I make plays. I'm a playmaker, and I feel like Coach Mark knows that, and I trust him with putting me in those situations to make those plays. And we're going to see how training camp goes. I'm going to talk to him a little bit more about what he wants to see from me, and then that's what I'm going to try to do to make sure I'm on the court and being a good teammate.
I know Thunder fans were thrilled to see you at Summer League. I know they're really eager to see you wearing that Thunder jersey for the team this year inside this building. Trey, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks so much, Trey.
Good luck, Trey.
Thank you.
That is Trey Mann, who just joined us, a rookie for the Thunder this season, one of 4 rookies on this Thunder roster, getting a chance to talk to all of the guys throughout Media Day as they file in throughout the arena, hitting up various stations, taking photos, going through interviews, posing for videos as well. We've got a lot of basketballs bouncing throughout this arena as well. A lot of activity on Media Day. It is an exciting day. And we've been talking to players, but how about this? We've got Coach Dagnall joining us right now. In person, face-to-face. So far, it's been all over Zoom over this past season. Coach, what is this day like for you? How are you feeling right now?
We're excited, obviously. You know, it's the beginning of the season. It's exciting to see all the guys, you know, juiced up to get going in camp. And, you know, they've worked hard this summer, and they deserve this opportunity. And so we can't wait to roll the balls out tomorrow and see where we're at.
Mark, so much of what we've talked about and really kind of one of the themes of the summer has been just normalcy, getting back to normal, getting players in routines, getting coaches back in routines. And I got to assume for you and the job that you're trying to do on multiple levels, that normalcy is a welcome sight and also something that's kind of critical for you to do the job that you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I mentioned it in the press conference there, but the last season and a half has really been about enduring. It's about being resourceful. It's about being resilient. And it's stretched us and tested kind of our muscles in those ways. But, you know, there is a sense of normalcy coming back. We're not there yet, obviously, and we don't want to be complacent with that. But we have new opportunities from practice time to the blue to playing in front of our fans. And it's good to be back, you know, in a little bit of a rhythm. It was great to have kind of a normal summer as well, or at least much closer to that. And so, you know, we're hoping that those pay dividends for us, but, you know, we're excited that things are starting to feel a little bit different.
Mark, you mentioned the resilience and perseverance, and you had guys like Mike Mascala, veterans, to help, you know, uphold those things, but also a lot of young guys who really, over the course of the last couple of years, have done all the right things and really help, you know, prop up those standards. How do you think that'll pay dividends heading into this season where there's some camaraderie and there's guys that really understand what it means to kind of carry the Thunder flag?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the group certainly has a sense of that, and there's definitely a chemistry that's coming into the season that we haven't had certainly last season, you know, with the short off season and stuff like that. So it's exciting, and you know, I think we have leadership up and down the roster. I think we have a group of young players that really do the right things and handle themselves the right ways. And, you know, that's pretty exciting, and we're not going to use age as an excuse when it comes to professionalism or competing or work ethic or those sorts of things. So it's certainly helpful to have guys like Mike and Kemrich and Favors, but, you know, we have guys that certainly lean into the right things and are capable of doing the right things, and we expect them to do that.
there's just some optimism and vibrancy. I mean, we were just talking to Darius Baisley. He's like about to jump out of his skin. He's so excited to start playing and get practice going. Well, how does that feel for you to be the head coach and know that these guys are just eager to get on the floor and get to work?
Yeah, I mean, I think people talk about the age of our team, and usually when external people are talking about it, they're talking about it in a negative light. But I think one of the strengths of having a young team is kind of that vibrant, youthful energy. And we certainly have that. You know, we have guys that are really, really excited to get going. They kind of have been through it. Guys like Baisley's been through it 2 years, and he knows how hard it is. He knows the challenges, and yet he's still excited. And so it's certainly awesome to see that. And you know, it's our job to try to lay down a foundation and set standards, but really allow that to come to fruition as well, and we're going to do that.
Coach, you got a handful of rookies coming in that you're going to get your hands on for the first time and kind of help them develop. What excites you about this rookie class and what they might be able to contribute either early in the season, later in the season, or both?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to contribute for sure, you know, with the way that the team is constructed and the players that they are. You know, they're definitely going to have their opportunities to do that. You know, what I would say is that there's kind of some staple things organizationally that are foundational for us to be tapping into as often as possible. But when you have players that naturally align with those things, I'm talking about professionalism, attacking the program, competing every single night, competing in a team way, plugging into the team. We have 4 guys in this rookie class that really like naturally align with that. They don't need to be sold on that. They don't need to be educated on it. That's kind of who they are. And it's exciting when you bring people in that can add momentum to what you already believe in. And I think in this particular class, we've done that, and they're 4 quality players that make the game easy for their teammates.
Coach, we were talking about the normalcy, seemingly, of this offseason. One of those aspects is Summer League, and you got a chance to have that touch point with some of those young guys. Teo, Jeremiah, Aaron Wiggins. What was that? How valuable was that experience for you as a coach and as a staff to have those touch points with those guys?
Well, it's great. It gives you more information on them, and information's key early in their careers because you don't know everything about them yet. And every new touch point is new information and gets you a little bit closer to feeling comfortable with who they are and what they need. But it really made me appreciate Teo and Poku because those guys last year didn't have that, and they're international players. They're coming and playing over here for the first time.
Right.
And what they went through and endured last year is certainly going to help them in the future. But I remember being in Vegas and watching those guys thinking, man, like it was tough, you know, for those guys at 19 years old to come into the NBA with none of this, you know, no fall buildup, no summer league, really no time in between the draft and the start of the season. And so it's great to be back to normal there. The players coming in have benefited from it. And it gives me a level of gratitude for those other 2 guys.
They also didn't get a chance to play in front of fans last season. As a coach, how much does that excite you to have these fans back in this building?
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the most fun things about competition, especially for a player. You know, our guys are going to feed off of that, you know, on the road and at home, you know, having fans in the stands. That's one of the most exciting things about the NBA, and these guys love that. And so that brings a lot of juice. I think it'll help you through the grind of an 82-game season. You know, the fans on a lot of nights over the years I remember here have really lifted the team up, and we're looking forward to getting that kind of boost from our fan base. And you know, our guys are pumped, and I'm happy for them.
Mark, last thing for you, you know, you get SGA back, you're coming into the season a little bit more whole. What are you most excited for in terms of just the style of play, the identity that you're going to try to create on the floor this year as a team?
Yeah, I mean, I think your style of play is kind of driven by your players, and I think our players are constantly evolving because of how young a lot of our players are. And so some of that is going to unfold naturally, and we need to give that the space to breathe and the space to unfold naturally. But the thing I'm most excited about is I really think it's important for us to be a team that competes and competes together. And I think we've got guys that really naturally align with that, starting with Shea, but across the roster. And, you know, with where we're at, that's going to be the staple of who we have to be every single night. We're going to be playing against teams that are wise, teams that are experienced, teams that have continuity, teams that have physical strength, teams that have been through playoff battles. And we need to stick our nose right in that fray. And in order to do that, you need competitive guys that are willing to band together, and I think we have that.
Competitiveness has always been a hallmark of Thunder basketball. Mark, thanks so much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of Media Day and practice starting tomorrow.
Good to see you guys. Welcome
Great
back.
to see you.
Good to see you, Mark.
Right,
Thanks so much.
We'll see you.
That was Thunder head coach Mark Dagnall joining us. You are watching the Thunder Basketball Universe live stream podcast presented by COOP Ale Works. We have gotten a chance to talk to so many of these Thunder players as they go throughout their obligations here throughout Media Day, taking pictures, videos, as you can see here, a lot of action happening on here on the floor. And we are now joined by Ty Jerome, who is here with us right now. Ty, what does this feel like for you coming into a season healthy, ready to go, and with this team right now?
I'm excited. Media Day feels different. We have more stations, more interaction with people. Hopefully get fans back, so it's just a different feeling. Excited for sure.
Ty, one of the images of the summer when it comes to the Thunder was like 10 of you guys sitting courtside at Summer League, and just the camaraderie that you all clearly had, the ability to support one another. What does it feel like as you're reconnecting with all these guys? We call it like the first day of school.
Yeah, we have a special group. We have a lot of young guys. We have a lot of guys who still could be in school. So it's just a unique group to be a part of. Definitely thankful and grateful for it, to come in to work with these guys every day.
By NBA standards, you're still considered pretty young. By Thunder standards, you're a veteran now that you're in your third year, having gone what you went through last season in particular. Do you feel like a veteran? Do you feel like kind of one of the leaders on this team going into year 3?
Every time I step on the court, I always feel like a leader in some type of way, because I think, you can lead, and no matter if you're a rookie, a 10-year veteran, or, going into your third year, then you can lead in so many different ways. So I think we're going to hear a lot of different voices this year. We're going to listen to everybody. We're going to hold each other accountable, and definitely hold ourselves accountable as well.
A point guard, a leader? Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't
That
it, Harris?
That tracks. That tracks.
By default.
Yeah.
Well, Ty, last season, obviously on the floor, we saw your ability to handle the ball, but also shoot the ball really well. You talked about wanting to work on your shot, as always. What did you focus on this offseason for yourself in terms of your game?
Yeah, just staying sharp, keeping my skills sharp, being in the weight room as much as I could, and just tightening up, moving without the ball, shooting without the ball. Last year, towards the end of the season, Shea didn't play a lot, so it caused me to be on the ball more. But with him being back, I want to focus on a lot of, moving without the ball, shooting, playing off the ball and getting used to that.
Yeah,
well,
go ahead.
Selfishly, Ty, watching you play, one of the parts of joy that I got was just seeing how far your range was. And it seemed to get deeper and deeper as the season went on, to where we would just, he's actually really taking that shot. How comfortable are you from deep, and kind of where does that range come from? And do you feel like you've got a lot of confidence in that shot well behind the three-point line?
Yeah, I'm definitely confident in it. I'm only going to shoot shots that I'm confident in. Otherwise, that's kind of silly. But I think just since I was young, I just always liked to shoot deeper shots. I never was really hugging the line. As I got older, it just became something I worked on. I think when I got to college, I really started to work on it. So it's definitely something I work on.
Something we talk about with three-point defense is just the gravity that creates on the floor, and the further you are out, the more the defense has to stretch itself. As a guard, especially playing with other guards. You mentioned Shea and Teo. How big of an impact does that have to be able to space the floor that way and just be a threat out there?
Yeah, you have to, figure out what the team needs from you, and take pride in that role. And I think we have a lot of guys that can handle it, a lot of guys that can make decisions. And I think, the more space I can create for those guys, the more it will, positively impact the team.
Well, we know that this isn't the longest off-season in NBA history, but it was still longer than last season. How valuable was that for you? What was that like to be able to decompress and reset a little bit more this off-season?
Yeah, it was awesome just to get to see my family, spend some quality time with them, get to decompress a little bit. After about 3 weeks, I wanted to play again, but it was cool just to, get my ankle fully healthy. See everybody I don't really get to see in the season, and work on some things that I wanted to work on.
It looked like you had a basketball camp as well. What was that like?
That was awesome. It was awesome. I went back to Virginia to do it, right near UVA, so it was really cool.
Ty, I recently wrote a feature story on you for OKCThunder.com, just talking about your perseverance, your resilience, everything from the double hip surgery and the loss in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and then ankle injury. I mean, how do you cultivate that in your personality, or is that something that you were just born with?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think I would credit that to having a lot of good coaches and a really good support system throughout my life. I think it starts with my parents. And then just, like I said, having coaches along the way and people and a great circle just tell you keep going. It sounds simple, but, a lot of people don't like to do it or don't want to do it. So I think, you have to go through adversity to get anything, you want. So
Coming off the most compact schedule in NBA history, 72 games in a very compressed window of time, how much are you looking forward to maybe a little bit more normalcy, a little bit more of that, every other day rhythm coming up this season?
Yeah, honestly, we didn't really mind playing games all the time. It was fun. Like, we never wake up, we have another game today. No, we'd always wake up and, get excited to play. So I think our bodies will probably be, a little happy about it, though.
Can't keep them off the court. No, he's ready to go back 3 weeks after the season ended. That's nothing.
Have you gotten a little bit more acclimated to OKC? I mean, last year being your first year here, it had to be a little bit strange for you as you're trying to learn the city, and now you've got a chance. The fans are going to be in the building. I'm sure people come up to you and talk to you about Thunder basketball.
Yeah, of course. And I remember my rookie year when I was in Phoenix, we came here, we played here, and it was packed and going crazy, and I could feel the energy then. So I'm excited to see what it feels like this year.
First day of training camp tomorrow. What's the mentality for this group on day one of training camp?
Just win the day. I think that's our mentality every day. I think people really get excited for day one, and as we should, because it's the start of a new year. But I think we have to have that approach every day, just like tomorrow, just to win every day, try to get better, focus on growth.
Keep chipping away. Thank you very much, Ty. We appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of Media Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ty.
That was Ty Jerome joining us on the Thunder Basketball Universe live stream podcast presented by COOP Ale Works. And now we have another rookie joining us on our live stream right now. This is Josh Giddey, just talking about him earlier and the incredible draft night that we saw for you. Josh, what has this past 2 months been like for you from draft night to now sitting here on Media Day about to go into training camp?
Yeah, it's been a busy 2 months. I mean, from draft night and the whole pre-draft process, not knowing where I was going to go, and then obviously having to, get a house, get a car, do all that moving in stuff, and then I'm settled in now. So it's been good getting to know the guys, training with the guys, and then obviously training camp starts tomorrow. So everything's happened really quickly, and I haven't had a lot of time to kind of sit down and just process the whole thing. But we're here now. The season's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks out, so it's all happening really quick, but I'm enjoying the process.
We asked Aaron Wiggins this a little bit earlier, but one of the ways you get acclimated to Oklahoma City that every Thunder player goes through is going down to the Oklahoma City National Memorial. And I'm just curious what your perspective was going down there and getting to sort of experience what makes this city so connected and unified.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I mean, obviously didn't know a whole lot of the history about Oklahoma, and that kind of enlightened some things for me, and the tragic events that happened that night. But it kind of shows that how unified the city is, and how close it brought people together. And then obviously having the Thunder here is a big thing for the city. It gives them something to watch, a professional sporting team to come and support. So it's great. The fan base is so unified as well, and the players really appreciate that. And it was good for me to learn a bit about the history about the city and the state of Oklahoma.
Josh, you come from what is becoming a bigger and bigger Australian lineage in the NBA. It seems like more and more players are not only coming over but having success. What's contributing to that, and how is the sport growing down there that allowed you to sort of grab onto it? Obviously, you come from a basketball family, but clearly it's gaining a lot of traction down there.
It is. I mean, Australian basketball, ever since, those first kind of crop of players came through, whether it was like Bogut, those older guys, Joe Ingles, Patty Mills, Dellavedova, they kind of, for me, they paved the way. And ever since I was little, I always look up to them. Used to watch them, in the Olympics, on the NBA stage, and they were kind of idols for me. And then I always wanted to follow in their footsteps and be an Australian national team player, be an NBA player. And those were the first guys I started watching. But over the years, Australian basketball has really kind of blossomed, and there's more and more guys going to the NBA from the NBL, and it's becoming a legitimate pathway for players to enter the NBA. And we're seeing it, not just for me, but through guys like LaMelo Ball and RJ Hampton, who spent a year in the NBL and then came to the NBA. So it's not just for Australians, but it's kind of getting more attention on the global scale, and more international players are starting to grasp onto it and see it as a legit pathway through to the NBA.
And part of that path for you was going through the NBA Academy, which I don't know if people really know a whole lot about, but it's important. The NBA is trying to grow the game. What was it like there for you, and sort of what is a day in the life of somebody at the NBA Academy? Because it's kind of like this mystical thing that we hear about, but we don't really know much about it. But what is a day in the life for you down there?
Yeah, well, like a busy day would be, we'd have like a shooting session in the morning, then we'd come back, we'd have school like throughout the day like a normal kid would. We'd go to school, and then we'd come back and we'd have, you know, like a weight session. Then we'd have our on-court training, which is like weights is like an hour. Training is like could be 2.5, get to 3 hours sometimes. So the days are really busy. It's not like we're just going up there to play basketball. Like we have to do school. We have study hall after practice. So you can kind of look at it like college, I guess, a little bit. It's busy. Like they help us though. They help us, you know, kind of manage our time. And you know, Canberra, where the academy's based, is really isolated, and there's not a whole lot to do there. So a lot of your time is spent focusing on basketball. So that's a good part of it, is like there's not a lot of distractions in that place. So, you know, it was good for me. I spent 18 months there, got a lot better. Got to travel the world, play with some of my best friends, learn from world-class coaches. So I love my time there.
He was in the lab, the manufacturing of an NBA player right there.
Very strategic to put it in a secluded location.
Day in and day out. You played, though, for the Adelaide 36ers, and you played against grown men. So coming into the NBA environment, this will be some familiarity for you just in terms of the physicality required, the speed of the game, and all of that, right?
For sure. I mean, that was one of the reasons I chose to go the NBL route opposed to college, was just to get that early taste of playing against bigger bodies, you know, grown men, and getting to learn from them as well at practice, training against them. And obviously there's NBA talent in the NBL, and getting to go up against that at such a young age was such a beneficial thing for me. And then obviously coming into the NBA, it helps having that year under my belt. And you know, hopefully it's not too much of a shock. I mean, it's obviously another step up coming over here, you know, the athleticism, how big people are. It's going to be different, but it's good to kind of get that feel early on and have that year under my belt. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Obviously, I've had a taste here, but, you know, there's a lot of young guys on this team, so it's not like playing against a team full of veterans that are, you know, established themselves in the league for a long time. So it's going to be different, but I'm really excited for it.
Aside from the on-court physical aspect of playing professionally, how much has the off-court aspect of playing in the NBL and playing with the national team, how much has that helped you in your transition to the NBA as well?
Yeah, lots. I mean, it's not, yeah, as you said, I mean, the off-court part is really beneficial as well, because especially with the national team, getting to see, you know, the habits those guys have, how they kind of conduct themselves, how professional they are. And it goes to show, like, they've all had long careers in the NBA, long careers with the national team, going to multiple Olympics, and just seeing how they kind of operate. It's something really fun to be around. And obviously people talk about the Boomers culture a lot, and it's really engraved by those, you know, cool players in the team. So to be around that at, you know, 17, 18 years old was good for me to kind of, you know, see how they act, and hopefully, you know, in the, you know, coming years that I can, well, not I, but, you know, the younger core of that team can kind of take the reins from those older guys who are going to be leaving the program soon.
You've been around a lot of professional players up to this point. Have you gotten any advice that has stuck with you as you head into the league?
Well, I mean, the good thing for me was there wasn't one piece of advice that stuck with me, but it was good because when I was with that national team, we had vets in the league, and we had guys that, like Josh Green, Matisse, that were young rookies in the league. So it was good to kind of hear it from two ends of the scale of, you know, what to expect and what to look forward to and all that stuff. So the big piece of advice, I mean, I don't really have a specific thing, but I talked to Joe Ingles a lot. We spoke a lot during the NBL season, and he was one that, you know, really kind of helped me through the whole pre-draft process. He was in that position where, as a young kid in the NBL as well, so he was good to relate to and talk to and get help from throughout my pre-draft process.
Josh, thank you so much for your time. Your first NBA Media Day. You're connected with all your teammates here today. Have a great time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
so
Josh.
much.
Appreciate your time. That was Thunder rookie Josh Giddey joining us right now. And guys are filing throughout the day. Media Day, there's a lot of activity happening, guys, as you can tell. A lot of photos, a lot of videos, interviews taking place, and we're also getting a chance to talk to players as they file through here as well. And right now, we have second-year forward Alexei Pokazewski joining us right now. Poku, this is your second year, but this is your first media day. How do you feel right now?
It's great experience, just having a time with the guys here. I didn't have this last year, so I wanted to get it.
I mean, they've got all these sets up for you, the lighting and the backgrounds.
Yeah.
They're going to make you look really, really good, Poku. Are you excited to see some of these pictures and video come out?
Yeah, I want to look good for everyone. I mean, I feel
Look
like
good,
in Hollywood.
play good, Poku.
That's
Look
right.
good,
That's the
play
mindset.
good.
I play good.
If you look good, you play good, you feel good. You know,
Yeah,
it's all connected.
You just live a life and dance and play and whatever. I just feel like at Hollywood out here with those lights on me, it was nice. It was nice.
It's awesome.
Poku, when you look back on your rookie season, it had some ups and it had some downs, and you obviously had the opportunity to go in the bubble. But when you reflect on last season, how do you assess it, and how do you feel like it went, and what do you want to build off of?
So, for me, it was just most important thing to improve as a player for the team and for myself. So, most important thing when I look back at the season is that I made improve. So I made an improvement. So I'm happy about that. And you know, the guys, the coach, a team, everyone in the team, everyone in Thunder helped me do that. So I'm happy for that. I'm excited for the next season and make some more improvements as a team and as a player.
Will you tell us just a little bit about what your off-season work was like? What were your days like as you were in the gym, getting that workout on the floor, in the weight room as well? It
was tough. I mean, I was happy to have an opportunity to work out here. So I was here for a whole summer, working out, trying to get better each day. So there were days that I wasn't happy how I looked like on the court or in the weight room, but I was always there and trying to push harder and just improve every day, every week. So there are a lot of things that I improve in. I feel like comfortable going into the next season, for sure, more than the last one.
Poku, going into your second year, now you have 4 rookies who are coming in as well. What's your advice to them as they head into training camp?
They just gotta listen a lot, and ask and listen, and play hard, play for the team, and everything else will come with it. I'm here for them, whatever they need, 24/7. If I can help, this is my second year. I don't have much experience, but if I can help them with something, I'm gonna do that.
You started every single game that you played after the All-Star break, after you came back from the G League bubble. You said that you don't have much experience, but those games must have really helped you in terms of just that comfort on the floor, the speed, the pace, the tempo.
For sure.
Yeah, things seem to really settle for you.
For sure. Everything slowed down for me after G League. And G League pretty much helped me a lot. Then after All-Star break, I felt much better on the court. Everywhere, when I was watching myself just walking around, everything was much easier, much comfortable. So I need the time. Guys give me time. They believe me. So I think I'm just gonna keep improving, keep playing hard.
Poku, going back to the early part of the summer, it seemed like you got one heck of a welcome back when you visited Serbia, coming back from the NBA. I mean, that had to be a really cool moment for you.
It was. I just landed from 15 hours flight, and I was hungry. But when I saw those people there, I was like, "This is cool. This is pretty." I was happy because that was the place where I grew up when I was playing, when I was young, where I was playing basketball, where I started playing basketball. So there were like kids from 2 years old until guys that were 50, 60. So I'm happy to bring all those people together at this, pretty much hard time with Corona. So
even when the one thing you got on your mind is getting a home-cooked meal in your home
after
country, right?
After that, I went to the house. My mom made a dinner for me. It was great.
That's awesome.
Speaking of which, what has this been like for you adjusting to life in Oklahoma City and the United States as a whole? Obviously, you're getting used to all of this in the middle of a pandemic, but have you been able to get acclimated and get settled a little bit?
For sure. When I was getting back from Greece after summer workouts, I was excited coming here to OKC because I felt like I was at home because the people here are so polite, so good, and they show me love. They show me love, so I want to pay that back on the court. So I pretty much feel like at home.
Yeah, Poku, it's amazing that this has become your home because last year was a crazy season. Now you've got a normal summer under your belt. I know you're looking forward to seeing the fans in the building.
A lot, yeah. I can't wait on that to happen because I think we, as a team, are going to play much better with them. They're for sure giving energy. In Europe, I had an opportunity to play in front of the fans and without fans, so I feel the difference. And I heard that fans in OKC are pretty good. I can't wait to see them.
They can't wait to see you.
They are
yeah,
loud.
they are very good. Poku, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of Media Day. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Good to
Thank
see you, Poku.
everyone.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That was Thunder forward Alexei Pokazewski joining us here in Media Day. You are listening to and watching the Thunder Basketball Universe live stream podcast presented by COOP Ale Works. Guys, it has been incredible getting a chance to see these guys face to face for the first time in so long. And as we head into this new season, this is a great way to kick off this new team, new season. And joining us now, we have Royce Young, the new addition to the Thunder, who will be contributing content. Royce, you've been posted up in the press room, listening to the podium. What have you heard? What have you learned so far?
Well, the first thing that I think stuck out to me is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is jacked, y'all. And he even kind of
always has been.
I think. Well, he's physically jacked, Chris. I mean, he has put on some muscle in the offseason. You can really see that work coming through. He even kind of made a little bit of a joke about it because he had his arms leaned up on the podium.
Got to show him off a
and he
little
was
bit.
like, "Why do you think I'm sitting like this? I want you to see." And I think one of the big things that jumped out to me, just speaking of SGA's time in with the media, is we've all heard about his maturity level, but we're talking about a guy here that signed a big contract, life-changing contract, and he has come in and his team mindset really jumps off the page because he emphasized it time and time again, answering every question to revert it back to the group. Really didn't even when he was asked about his fashion, which is something that he's clearly very good at, clearly very passionate about, he wanted to talk about how everybody on the team is really good at fashion. So, I think that in terms of leadership standpoint, this young roster with what they have in SGA, I think they really have a unique leader in front of them.
While we're talking kind of team-wide and big picture, I just wanted to ask you about your first essay that you wrote for OKCThunder.com and just sort of the big picture look that you took at the 14th season of Thunder basketball coming up and maybe what fans can expect moving forward. Just wanted to get your take off of what you heard from Sam Presti and how you were able to put a personal spin on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a personal thing here for me to be with the Thunder organization. I mean, it's year 14, and remarkably, I've been around for all 14 of those years. And so for me, just kind of seeing the evolution of the Thunder organization itself, and then the impact it's had on the city and state that I've grown up in, and how important this organization is to the community, and how the community has become very important to the organization itself. And so, I think one of the big things that jumped out to me, Nick, as Sam was going through his availability was, I think there is kind of this natural instinct to try to kind of connect what this team is doing right now to what they did previously. And I think that's natural in some regards. I think a great line that Presti had was they want to stand on the shoulders of what's been done. They want to use the past to inform the present and the future. But at the same time, as Sam said, they're not competing against the past. Everybody remembers it early in those years, the Rise Together motto, and how everybody felt about that. But this isn't Rise Together anymore, because the city is in a different place. The organization is a different place. Everybody has evolved. Things are different here now. And so don't connect that rebuild to what this one has to be. You want this one to go as incredibly good as the last one did, of course, but at the same time, give this one its own space and understand that this one might look a little bit different.
Well, and it stands out to me because it's an organization that is used to success. And I think that everybody that's been a part of Oklahoma City and everybody that's been a part of this organization wants to get back to that success, wants to be competing once again in the Western Conference and in the conversation for competing for an NBA title. But one thing that we've all learned is there's a process to that. And you talk about this being a new group of people and a new group of leaders, guys like SGA who are kind of taking control of this team. And through that process is a series of steps. And you have to go through those steps. There's no elevator to success. And in order to get that sustained success, you kind of just have to go through it.
Yeah. And
I think that this season, this growth, the development of these young players is going to be a part of that.
I think that's a great point, Chris, because one of the things that I remember, because I was around for that first time through, is how much fun it is to see players get better. And I think in some ways the Thunder fan base may kind of have taken that for granted because the rise was so rapid. They got so good so fast, and a lot of it was kind of done on the back end before a lot of those guys were even in Oklahoma City. But I think that you kind of get to experience the growth and development organically of a roster in totality now. You get to see it from start to finish. And I really stress this, that truly that is some of the most fun you can have as a fan, is being
Homegrown
part
talent.
of watching that
Homegrown
group
talent.
come together. And when you see those moments, Nick Collison has talked about it before, of when he sat there on the bleachers watching some of those young guys play back in 2008, 2009, and it clicked for him. He realized, oh my goodness, these guys are good. And there's going to be a moment you're going to start to see some of these guys get good. And you're going to start to realize, we saw with SGA last year, for crying out loud, but some of these young guys, you're going to start to see it coming together. You're going to see the identity forming. And I would just say, for a Thunder fan, you want to be part of that. You don't want to miss out on it. You don't want to be the person jumping on in a couple years when all of a sudden they're rolling through the West again. You want to have walked through it with them, because that just makes that accomplishment so much sweeter.
And there's wins within the game, and Paris, you and I saw at Summer League, a guy like Teo Maladon finish through contact in the way that he didn't last year. Or, as we're probably going to see this year, Poku's going to make a nice little pocket pass that maybe we hadn't seen before.
Right.
There are going to be these little developmental wins, and I think that's something that, Royce, you're pointing to of a way that fans can hold on to these special moments and remember what these guys were like when they were young as they continue to rise.
Yeah, and we've seen this throughout the entire season, and guys like Isaiah Roby as well, and the growth and the experience that they were able to get last season, they're only going to layer on to that this season as well. I wanted to ask you, what excites you as you look and pass some of these guys throughout the arena? What excites you about this group in particular, and what you're looking forward to see from them?
I love, Paris, just the blank slate nature of a team like this, where there really is the ability here to kind of forge their own identity. That's something Mark Daignault was talking about, I think he called it blank canvas. And when you start to look at some of these young players walking through the halls, Trey Mann, SGA, Teo, Poku, Josh Giddey, all these young players, there's such an opportunity here to start to kind of create a style of play, create an identity, and you're going to kind of see that take shape on the floor. And for me, I love watching that sort of thing kind of come together there. So looking at a lot of these guys and passing around, first of all, it's awesome to be around basketball players again. Can I just say that?
Agreed.
I mean, I've spent so much of my professional life doing that, and it's just so fun to be around them. The atmosphere, the energy you get from being around NBA players is so cool. So that's probably number one, if I'm being honest, Paris.
Face-to-face interview.
That's right.
Exactly.
Nice to see you.
Amazing.
Gives you a whole new perspective. Royce, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to the Thunder. This has been great. I'm sure we're going to talk to you so much more over the course of the season. We've got the man that you were just talking about earlier, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
He's
getting set to join us.
Not bad.
Thanks for letting us steal you from the press room,
Thanks
Royce.
so much for your time, Royce.
Right. Appreciate
Good seeing you,
you.
Royce. Thank you.
Media Day continues, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is getting settled in right now, getting the headset put on. Shai, welcome, and how has Media Day been so far after the busy offseason that you have had? Now basketball is right around the corner. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it needs to hurry up. It's been way too long, but I'm super excited, and I can't wait to get started for real.
We were talking about that with Darius Baisley. He's had the 2 shortest off seasons in NBA history, and he's jumping out of his shoes getting ready to practice tomorrow. How does this feel just to have the guys together and have that vibrancy and that energy?
Yeah, like I said, we're all super excited. I guess with a group of young guys, we're a little bit even more excited. A lot of guys that are just getting into this. At the end of the day, it's just basketball, right? It's all we love to do. And we all just want to get out there and play.
It's just basketball. It's not Fashion Week, right?
No, Fashion Week's done.
Fashion Week is a little more intense, huh?
Back to business.
I mean, that had to be a heck of an experience for you. I mean, it's clearly a big part of your life and something that's important, but you've really been able to balance the love and the passion for both, it seems like, pretty well.
Yeah, like you just said, love both of them. Basketball obviously comes first, and that's why I've been able to, I guess you can say, balance them. Basketball obviously comes first, and I like it a little bit more too. But yeah, I prioritize them. But just like anyone has hobbies, people like to go golfing. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of my hobbies that I love.
Shai, you were really such a catalyst the last couple years in a variety of different ways and roles, but your leadership shined through so much. How do you view yourself heading into this season, signing the extension with the Thunder, and having the ability to be a guy that is a connector of people, not just on the floor, but off the floor and within the organization?
Yeah, I just want what's best for my teammates at the end of the day. And that's giving them the best version of me day in and day out. So whether that's leading them, like you said, on the court, helping them off the court, whatever it is, I'm here for them, and they know that. And I think going into the season, I don't see it much different as last year. Like I just said, it's basketball at the end of the day. We love to play it, and I'm going to give it my all, and my teammates will every night.
Shay, one of the quotes that I can't get out of my mind from last season was Mark Dagnall, and he says, every time you give that guy an off-season, he comes back better. And clearly, we just talked to Royce Young. He said you looked a little stronger, got some more muscle on you. So clearly, you've been working this off-season. What was your priority in terms of working on your game?
I like to work on everything. I have a few things that I worked on, but I don't want to give the scout out yet.
That's fair.
Yeah. Can't blow your cover.
Right,
Nope.
exactly. But ultimately, I like to work on all facets of my game, make sure I get better in every area, and ultimately I become a better player doing so. But a lot of times it starts with my body, eating right, making sure my energy level's high, doing the little stuff, nutrition, and then also in the weight room, lifting and exercising.
Shay, I know you were joking about not telegraphing, but for opposing defenses, you're kind of already a mystery in that you led the league in drives, but you shot 43% from three, and it's a very, very difficult combination to guard with a guy at your size, with your ball handling ability, passing ability, but can also shoot the three. How do you feel like that combination of skills can just help get your offense moving in a lot of different ways this year?
Yeah, one of the things that growing up, like my dad always told me playing basketball, was offensively, you take what the defense gives you. And for sure, early in my career, I wanted to drive, but they were giving me a jump shot, and I wasn't as good at it. So that's something that I worked at, and I feel myself getting better at every year. And now I've gotten to the point where the defense is kind of in a bind. But yeah, that's what it comes down to nowadays. I just take what the defense gives me and keep basketball simple.
Shay, last year wasn't without its struggles. You missed more games than you played, missing 37, and that kind of affects people in different ways. Some people really find the positives. Hey, the game slowed down a little bit. But you were there, very supportive of your teammates seemingly every single night that you didn't play. How were you able to use that missed action, those 37 games, to your advantage that you plan to utilize this year?
Yeah, first thing I would say is it showed me to not take any experience and moment for granted. The game can be taken away from you very fast, and fortunately for me, it was for a very small amount of time. But that's the first thing. And then it showed me, I guess, how you can be a leader off the floor. Me not being able to go out there with them every night and go to war and lead them in the war. But I was obviously eyes and ears on the sideline and tried to help them everywhere I could.
On the sidelines, you had to help bring energy too. There were no fans,
no fans
in the stands, but this season there will be. How much are you looking forward to that? How much is this group looking forward to that this upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm so excited. And a lot of guys on this team haven't played with Oklahoma City's home fans. But yeah, like I said, I'm so excited. For sure the best fans in the league. Even when I wasn't on Oklahoma City Thunder, the place was always rocking. And I can't wait for it to be rocking again.
You guys had to learn how to create your own energy out there on the floor. Are you now kind of experienced in being able to give it right back to them too, and be able to play with that pop, regardless of what the scoreboard says?
Yeah, absolutely. Having them in the building is just more energy.
Yeah.
And obviously it'll be in our favor every night, and I'm excited for that. Excited.
What's it been like just walking around town? Are people coming up to you and saying Thunder up? And what's it been like just being in the city again for another year?
Yeah, always love. Oklahoma City loves their Thunder, and the Thunder love them. You experience that every time you go out, and it's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shay. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of Media Day. Enjoy getting back together with all your buddies and getting on the floor tomorrow.
Sure.
Thanks for your time, Shay.
Thanks, Shay.
Thank you.
That was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, guard for the Thunder in Media Day, going through all the players' media obligations throughout the day. Pictures, photos, interviews, you name it. Even he's got a camera there.
That's right.
Creating his own content right there. And as he mentioned, he got stronger throughout the offseason. One guy who physically got stronger and is visually stronger as well, that's Teo Maladone sitting down with us right now, going into his second year with the Thunder. Teo, we saw you during this offseason. You put in some work during Summer League. Oh,
sorry, we got
you
the
you gotta
paparazzi
pose- you
here.
gotta
1
pose for
second. Yeah.
The picture that Shay is taking, of course, here. He knows what he's doing with the camera. He's got you covered. No worries.
First assist of the season for Shay on that little photo there.
Well, let's start here. How fun is Media Day? Obviously, a lot of guys being able to see each other for the first time. How is this for you?
No, it's a very exciting moment. Just to have everyone around and just getting ready for the season, getting ready for training camp, feeling that things are coming up. It's really exciting.
And we saw you this off-season, like I mentioned, Summer League. You look stronger. We saw you out there leading that young Summer League group. How much did you learn from that experience?
It was a great experience for that. It's something that we wanted to put on, and it was a goal heading to Summer League. So it was really great to have this opportunity to be one of the main guys, making sure that I got the team around and making sure that they follow my lead and I help them go get the better opportunity.
I don't think any rookie class had to endure what you and Alexei Pokazewski had to last season, as you had an entire summer to be here, another year of just getting used to being in the United States. What's that been like for you and just your comfort level?
It's been great. Yeah, we talked a lot about it. How when you think of it, last year we get 2 or 3 days of training camp, 2 or 3 games of preseason games, and then the season starts right off. So it was great to have this summer, making sure that I work on the things that I need to work on, getting ready and prepared for the season coming up.
Yeah, Taylor, the season ended, last season ended in mid-May. It's your first professional off-season after the NBA. How did you spend the summer prior to Summer League, and what did you do specifically? Did you go back to France? Did you work on your game? How did you spend the summer?
I got the chance to go back to France for 2 or 3 weeks at the end of the season, just having the chance to see my family back, the guys that I used to hang around before. Great time, and then I went straight back to work, went back to OKC, and from that point, worked till now.
Your mom was a former professional basketball player, right? Did when you went back home, she have some pointers for you? Was she, telling you how to read pick and roll or anything like that?
No. She was just being a good mom and making sure that his child is happy coming home. But no,
what was the first meal that you had to get back in France from your mom?
Grandparents' meal for sure. It was a typical meal for Guadeloupe. It's called dombre. And I had to get that.
Had to get it. We're going to need a couple plates of that at some point this season. We'll have to figure that out.
Sounds great. So obviously, we talked about you being able to get stronger over this offseason. What did it take for you to get to that point, to where we see you physically stronger, like right now?
I think it was just taking one day at a time and taking every opportunity at a time, not looking as okay, it's got a couple months till the preseason starts, training camp starts, so I'm go easy on this week and just took it one day as if that was the last day to get ready, and that we were getting started tomorrow, and that's how I prepared it, and so I just kept my head down and took one day at a time.
Tell you got some great experience last year being the only guard out there on the floor, or sometimes playing alongside Shea or Ty Jerome or 2 or 3 guards. What was that experience like for you, and how do you carry that forward of being able to be versatile out there on the floor?
Yeah, I think it's one of my strengths too, being able to not be stuck on only one position and being able to just do one thing. Felt like one of my strengths is to be able to play in whatever position you need me. So it's something that growing up I played with. I played a lot of times with another guard and that could handle the ball as well as I was doing. And even in my professional years in France, I always played with 2 guards. So it was just seeing something that I saw before. So it was just trying to keep doing what I used to do before and seeing ways I can improve off the ball when the other guys has the ball, and when I have it, being sure to make the right decision.
Well, Teo, you're about to be inside the arena with fans again next season. How much are you looking forward to? How much have you heard about the Thunder fans, first and foremost?
I think I heard from everyone. At this point, everyone talked to me about it, so I'm really looking forward for it. It's been it's been a tough season without fans, where it felt like the part of the game was missing. Energy was missing some days, and where the fans could bring it up and give that extra energy, extra boost that we need. So it's really exciting to have them back, having them cheer for us, give us that energy, and really excited for that.
Teo, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to just seeing you brimming with that energy as the fans are all roaring in here. It's gonna be a great sight. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your media day, and good luck starting tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teo.
Thanks, Teo.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
That was Teo Maladone joining us right now as players continue to file throughout Media Day. A quick change here, because now we are joined by a new face to the Thunder roster. This is Vit Krejci. And Vit, welcome in. Welcome to Media Day.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
How are you?
How does it feel to be a part of this Thunder roster this season right now?
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing. It was a long year last year because of the injury. I was focused on just the rehab, and luckily, the organization helped me get through it. I felt good, and I got a chance to show it.
And Vit, I did want to ask you about that because you're rehabbing an ACL, which is a really robust process. It's not easy, but you're doing that in a new country. You're doing that in an organization and in a new city. What was that like for you, having to go through that?
Well, when I was 14, I moved to Spain. I lived basically by myself since I was 14, without family, without friends. So, coming here, obviously it was difficult, but I went through worse stuff, and I was just I just wanted to get back as soon as possible to play basketball. So I was just worried about day-to-day work and get back as soon as possible to get back as strong as possible, and do what I love the most, and it's play basketball.
Vit, I remember the first time that I met you was actually up there in the stands. Paris, Chris, and I, we were getting ready to go on for a broadcast on Bally Sports Oklahoma, and you were up there hanging out in the stands, just taking in the games. What did you learn from that experience last year of being in this building, albeit with no fans, but you got to watch NBA basketball and see how the game is played?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird, watching basketball, and there was nobody else. Some families, but that was it. But it was just nice to see the games. Obviously the playoff style is way different here, so it helped me a lot. To see the whole game, and there's a lot of stuff going on the timeout and stuff you don't see on a TV. So it was good to see the whole game.
And because of your ACL rehab, and it didn't allow you to play last year, we didn't get to see you in Summer League yet this year. And so a little bit of a mystery for most of us, but for the fans out there watching, for us, how would you describe your game, and what do you bring to the table for this Thunder team?
Yeah, I'm just looking to bring a lot of energy on defense and on offense. Speed the game up. I know that's how they love to play here. Play fast. So I think that suits my style the best. So I'm really blessed to be in Oklahoma, where they love these type of players. That can do a lot of things. So, I think I said it many times. I think Oklahoma is one of the best places to start your NBA career because how they work with players and how the city is,
I know Thunder fans have been doing a lot of YouTube scouting. They've seen you pushing the ball in transition, flying up to the rim, at the wing spot. What are some of the things that you can kind of try to control every night to be able to provide a punch for this team?
Yeah, like I said, just bring the energy. I got a lot better at shooting, I would say, because of ACL, I couldn't do much, but shooting is one thing that I could do, early on. So, I think that's what my game got best at, and I'm looking forward to see if it translates to the game.
You did have some time to explore Oklahoma City last season. What have you learned? What were your impressions of the city as you get settled in here?
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody here is a big fan, and it was just nice to see all the people, get to know my teammates. I couldn't really do that last year. I couldn't be with the team, but during the summer, I got to do more stuff with the team on and off the court. So it was just nice to see, and I love the city of Oklahoma. So I'm looking forward to spend the whole year here.
Vit, you are from a country, Czech Republic, where ice hockey and soccer dominate the conversation. They dominate the social gatherings.
Yeah.
You and Thomas Satoransky are the two Czech players in the NBA. Number one, that's got to be a sense of pride. And number two, how the heck did you not end up playing one of those other two sports?
Well, my sister plays basketball. My dad was a coach, so I spent most of the time on a basketball practice. Then I just fell in love with the game. You know, I obviously in Europe, everybody's got to try at least one of those things. So I played soccer for a little bit, but I just fell in love with basketball. And yeah, like I said, from a young age, I had clear dream. I wanted to play in an NBA, and that's why I went to Zaragoza at this early age, because basketball in Czech Republic is not that good, and Spain is one of the top countries for basketball. You know, so that's why I went there, and it turns out good. So yeah, happy for that.
You, Alexei Pokazewski, both left your homes as young teenagers and are now living out your NBA dreams. You get to live out your dream by getting on the court and practice tomorrow, Vít. So enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your media day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Great
it.
to see you, Vít. Thanks for your time.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was Vít Krejci joining us here during Media Day. We are inside of Paycom Center, where Media Day action is in full force, ready to kick off this next season of Thunder basketball. As you can see, players are going through videos, they're taking pictures, interviews are happening around the arena. And I have to say, guys, it's just been great to see these guys face to face and talk to them in person.
Yeah, just also so many cool applications that this content is going to be used for to really enhance the game night experience inside Paycom Center. It's been a long time since fans have been in here, and the Thunder is really kind of rallying together to make this experience inside this building one of a kind.
Well, one guy who has experienced the roar of the crowd inside of Paycom Center is Lou Dort, who is here with us right now. Lou, how are you feeling right now? Media Day for you. What is this experience like for you?
I'm feeling great. It's so nice to just see the guys back in the uniform and, you know, taking pictures and stuff and seeing all the staff here. So it's pretty nice.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead, Perry.
Well, you've had a pretty busy off season, and first and foremost, the headliner was receiving a national medal from Quebec.
Yeah.
What was that experience like from you and receiving that honor in your old high school in Montreal?
It was great. Just the fact that I went back to the neighborhood that I grew up in. I mean, and all my people, some old teachers and so many people that I haven't seen in so long was there. So, I mean, it was just great to be honored with Chris Boucher, that he is also from Montreal North. So, I mean, it was great. I mean, I never thought one day I'll be receiving a medal, and it happened. I mean, it was just great, and I'm thankful for sure.
Well, Lou, I can't quite remember off the top of my head if you were here 2 years ago. Were you here for Media Day 2 years ago?
I was here 2 years ago.
You were here, so you remember this. So
I do, yeah.
This is not your first Media Day.
No, it's not.
So coming here today and not having a Media Day last year and knowing how different this experience is and knowing how far you've come in your career, getting a guaranteed contract, working away, being a starter now, I mean, there's got to be some reflection upon you coming into the arena today, just knowing how far you've come and accomplishing what you have in a short amount of time.
I mean, yeah, just looking back. I mean, it's my third, Media Day now. I mean, it just goes by so fast. But just looking back, being in the arena right now, how it was hard, just for me to get there, just to get here, and now I'm here, and now I'm really happy to be here once and just really get back to work.
Lou, Sam Presti shared a story about how last year in a game, an opposing player went up to his coach in the middle of the game. He said, "All I see out there is Lou Dort. He's everywhere." First of all, who do you think that was? No, truly, what is it like to kind of be developing that reputation as a guy who just makes a massive impact on the floor?
Oh, I mean, it's good. I mean, the defense is one thing I really take pride in, and I mean, I've been working a lot on my footwork and stuff like that just to get better on it. So I mean, I'm always ready to take a challenge. I mean, I like playing against great players and I like going against them. So I'm always ready to be the one, to be able to shut them down sometimes and stuff. So I mean, I feel like it's my job, and I'll keep doing that.
You just are such a competitor. I mean, you're a lockdown defender, but you're talking about trying to take strides forward on defense. Where do you start? What do you try to look at to make those little tiny adjustments and tweaks to get better?
I mean, the first thing is watch film, watch what the other players do really good. I mean, and then I adjust to me. But I feel like the main thing is really footwork and really being able to stay in front of them.
Talking about defense, you took 57 offensive fouls last season. You drew 57 offensive fouls. I think the question we all want to know is, how do you practice that?
I mean, I don't think you can really practice that. I mean, it's just you just got to be able to be in front of guys. And I mean, if the screen is illegal, I mean, it's illegal. I mean, for me, I'm just doing my job and really trying to stay in front. That's it.
Lou, you made your name by shutting down some of the game's best. Guys like Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, James Harden. You had some really great battles with them during games. But is there a guy who you really, really, really look forward to going up against in this league? Considering
I'm looking forward to see all of them.
All of them,
all of
but
them,
nobody
all the top
specifically.
guys.
I mean, there's some guys that got to get your juices flowing a little bit more.
I
than
mean,
others.
some of them actually do, just because I feel like, you know, they really get the best of me. But, like, I don't want to say no names right now.
Yeah.
You'll probably see it when we play them. Yeah.
I was testing them out
There you
there.
go. There you go. Louis, we kind of talked about your shoulders of steel, having to get through that contact, get through those screens. But, you know, you improved as a shooter, you improved as a ball handler and a playmaker. How much do you relish the opportunity to be able to put the ball on the deck and make things happen for yourself and teammates as well?
I mean, a lot. Just the fact that, you know, I had the opportunity to do it last year. I mean, it kind of came fast to me, and I wasn't really ready to do it. But, like, you know, just throughout the year, I started learning it more, and I feel like now I'm ready, so I know what to expect. And that's one thing I really worked on this offseason, too. So, like, I have way more to show.
Well, going back to this offseason, this last question for you. It was packed with a lot of stuff. Your first Lou the Beast basketball camp. I want to know what it was like for you to be able to represent the Canadian national team for the very first time. What was that like for you?
Oh, that was great. I mean, it was just nice to be around all the top Canadian players, and I mean, being coached by some of the good coach nurse. And I mean, it was just great. I mean, it didn't end up how we wanted to, but like, I mean, just the experience was really, really crazy, and like, and I'll definitely go back in the next few years.
Lou, we feel the energy in here. You guys are just clearly so excited to be back together, be seeing each other again. I know you're excited about practice. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck as the season begins tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great to see
can't
you,
wait.
Lou.
Season
Lou.
3.
That is Lou Dort joining us here. We are inside of Paycom Center where Media Day is taking place. Players are filing through various stations set across the arena, in the bombs, on the floor, all over here. And guys, it is amazing to see these guys face to face, but I really am feeling the excitement of the season being right around the corner.
I just love, we've got practice to cover tomorrow, Paris.
I know, we've got work to do.
It's hard to believe. I know that this has been one of the shorter off seasons ever, but it does feel like a really long time since we've gotten to talk to these guys and gotten to watch some Thunder basketball.
But it hasn't been a long time since we've been able to talk to Jeremiah Robinson Earl, one of the rookies for the Thunder this season. We were able to talk to you during Summer League, your first opportunity with this team, wearing a Thunder jersey for the first time. How was that experience for you this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience being able to go out there and compete in Summer League. You know, it's something that you look forward to as a rookie every single year. I mean, I just came a long way. You know, the work has just begun. All the hard work in the past has paid off, and now the work has really just begun. And it's been a lot of fun to compete at a high level.
You really popped at Summer League. I mean, not just literally, but, you know, figuratively too. You know, the pick and pop game, you were knocking down shots from three. You were physical on the glass. You played defense at a high level. What was that like, being able to kind of introduce yourself to the fan base in that way?
I mean, it was great. I mean, I took a lot of pride in defensive rebounding. It's something that Villanova we did as well. Took a lot of pride in that, you know. And I just love going out there competing. If that means I rebound and play a lot of defense, or if it means I'm hitting shots, just whatever I can do to help the team win games.
Rebounding and playing defense. I feel like you've heard that a time or two from your college coach.
Oh, absolutely.
Jay Wright. But you join a long list of guys now in the NBA from Villanova, and there seems to be a certain DNA to Jay Wright and Villanova players. Can you expand on that, and what is it, and why it seems to translate in the NBA?
I think Coach Wright and the coaching staff and the people up there at Villanova do a great job just teaching professionalism on and off the court, and just the development of the players, even if it might not be a one and done, just going to the NBA after 1 year, but being able to buy into the program for if it's 2, 3, 4 years, and then just trusting that process and know that it'll help you in your career in the long run. So I think they do a great job just helping develop those players.
Have you talked to some of your old teammates that are in the league and asked them kind of what to expect and what's it going to be like, and have they given you any advice?
Absolutely, just getting as much knowledge as I can from them, just enjoying the process, and just taking it one day at a time, and just being able to what can you do every single day to become the best player you can possibly be for yourself and for the team. So just making sure you're working hard every single day.
You talk about the influence that Jay Wright had on you as a basketball player. I'm curious about the influence that your parents played in this as well. Obviously, you talk so much about your mom, and your dad was a star basketball player as well. How much of a factor did they play in you being the player that you are right now?
I mean, they're everything. I mean, my mom's really, she's held it down for 20 years, being able to help me be in this position today. So I think I take a lot, I love them to death for that. And I also give them a lot of props for not really forcing me to play basketball when I was young. So I feel like right now when I'm playing the game and practicing and working on my craft, I genuinely love it every single day. So I love them to death, and I'm very grateful for everything they've done for me.
Now, did they have an influence in you choosing the number 50?
So my dad was number 50 in high school.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I always wore like 10 when I was in like elementary, middle school, and then I was like 24 because Kobe's my favorite player, and then those numbers weren't available, so I chose 50 just to honor my dad and keep that legacy going.
Jeremiah, you're family-oriented. Thunder fans are going to love you. This city is all about sort of that connectedness and that culture and those values. And I know you had the opportunity to go down and learn more about Oklahoma City at the National Memorial downtown with some of your rookie teammates. Will you just tell me about kind of what you got out of that experience and what you learned there?
I mean, it was a great experience besides the tragedy of what happened, but it was great to just go there and just kind of learn from just kind of the history of the city and just what the trials and tribulations they went through from that, because I feel like since OKC is a very tight-knit area and everybody has kind of been affected from that in some way, in some sort of way. So I feel like that kind of helps bring everybody together through the Thunder, being able to have a big community, a big family environment, so we can all just stick together through all hard times, good times.
That's one of those moments that you and your rookie teammates could kind of bond over. You had Summer League as well. Tell us and the Thunder fans a little bit about some of the other three guys, Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, Aaron Wiggins. Tell us something that maybe they don't know yet about these guys.
I mean, it's a great group. I mean, we might come off as quiet or anything, but when you get around us and we get warmed up, it's great. I think one thing that's crazy about Josh is like, he's 18 years old. Like, I'm 20, he's 18. I'm that much older than him. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm still young, but I'm like looking at him like I'm way older than him. So, I mean, it's a great group. I mean, we all have very like-minded. We just all love to work and just get better every single day.
Tell us a little bit about that big dinner that you had on draft night at the steakhouse in Chicago. How big was that thing?
I mean, it was like the whole back room.
Yeah,
it
sounded pretty big.
We had like 30 to 40 people there. And it was a great time just being able to be around family and those that have influenced me and helped me in some sort of way to be in this position today. But, I mean, it was a lot of fun. That night was just a night to remember, and just having all those people around me that have bettered me in some sort of way.
Hey, Jeremiah is from Kansas City. He's from the Midwest. He knows all about steak, being able to put it away when you need to. What's this like, just being just up the road from where you grew up?
It's great. I mean, I never would have thought the team I would have been drafted to is the closest team from where I'm from. So I think everything happens for a reason, and God has everything under control, and I'm just so grateful for this opportunity.
Speaking of which, what has been this past 2 months for you in terms of being drafted, going to Summer League, and now Media Day? Training camp starts tomorrow. Have you been able to catch your breath? Has it been a whirlwind? What has it been like for you?
It definitely has been crazy, especially the pre-draft workouts, getting drafted. The next day I fly out to here. We're already kind of in Summer League training camp and then Summer League. So I definitely took my my week rest before we start getting back into workouts. But it's moving really fast, but I mean, this is something I wanted to do my entire life, so I'm excited and just keep taking it one day at a time and just enjoying the process.
Jeremiah, a lot of wings on this team, a lot of guards and versatile forwards and big men like yourself. What are you starting to glean? You have such a great pedigree in your basketball career so far. What are you kind of starting to pick up about the identity of this team and what they want to be like on the floor this year?
I think we're going to, even though we're a young team, we go out there and compete every single night, no matter what team we're playing against. We just want to be the best team we possibly can be, and we live with those results, Just keep controlling our attitude and our approach to the game every single day.
Jeremiah, I know we're all looking forward to seeing you out there on that court, the number 50, representing your dad out there on the floor. So good luck. Enjoy the rest of Media Day, and thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yep.
Thank you.
That was Thunder rookie Jeremiah Robinson-Earl joining us. We are here on the floor inside of Paycom Center during Media Day. A lot of activity happening, and we've been able to talk to a lot of these guys for the first time heading into this season. Chris, what has this been like, being able to talk to these guys? What stands out to you so far?
It just feels good to have some normal interaction. And it might sound really simple, but I'm dead serious. Like, it just feels really good to have the interaction with people, to have these players here, to have them in a normal environment, to have them excited about training camp. I think that you can see their anticipation, their exuberance going into what is going to be training camp tomorrow. And that's probably normal, considering it's the beginning of the season and it's always kind of the height of optimism. But I think that there is a sense of exuberance that you didn't get last year that you're feeling and you're sensing here today. And if there's one thing that really stands out, this is a young group of NBA players, a young group of men, but they want to do what it's going to take to make the team better from an individual standpoint, from a team standpoint. I think that you hear that from what they're saying. So there's a level of excitement, but I think that there's also going to be a level of sacrifice in not only proving themselves, but also what's best for the team. And I think that that's something to keep an eye on.
Today is September 27th. There's going to be a week of training camp, but before we know it, guys, we're going to blink, and that first preseason game on October 4th is going to be here. There's going to be 4 preseason games, as you can see here on your screen. 2 of them streamed on the Thunder mobile app, as you can see, 10-4 against the Hornets, and then October 14th against the Nuggets to wrap up the preseason schedule. That game on October 10th at Milwaukee, that's an ESPN game, and then October 13th against the Denver Nuggets on Bally Sports Oklahoma. And then after that, we're into the regular season, and we're really running.
Put your seatbelt on.
Yeah,
I know. Get ready.
A couple of weeks of practice in between there, but after a long wait this summer, it's going to be really awesome to see these guys again on the floor.
And one thing that has really stuck out to me so far, there are a lot of gym rats on this roster. A lot of guys who are itching to get back into the gym, who think this has been a long off season, even though it hasn't been a full, complete off season. But they're ready to get back into the gym. And so now these opportunities are going to start rolling around the corner, starting with October 4th against Charlotte. Preseason, training camp, all these things are about to get going really quickly.
Yeah, and then the regular season comes, and we've got all 82 on Bally Sports Oklahoma, so we are going to be there for you every single night.
What is it about opening up with Utah?
It's every
Utah is the opener for just about everything. You think back 2 years ago, opened up against Utah, obviously the infamous game on March 11th. The bubble opened up against Utah. The home opener last year was against Utah, and then, of course, the regular season opener is going to be against Utah again this season. So the NBA schedulers just love having the Thunder and the Jazz play in openers.
When you look at the first week or so for this team, and it's a great opportunity for them to test themselves against some of the very best in the league. You think about going to Utah, one of the very best teams.
It's not a cupcake opening.
Not at all.
Nope.
And then you think about the excitement of Thunder fans coming back into this building for that first week inside Paycom Center. You got the Philadelphia 76ers, you got the Lakers, you got the Warriors. I mean, it is going to be an awesome opportunity for the fans to come back in and to see just that excitement on the floor and some high-level basketball.
Going to get a high-level team in the Eastern Conference coming in Philly. Obviously, Joel Embiid, he is now healthy after struggling with that MCL over the playoffs. But the Lakers and the Warriors, like you said, I mean, it's going to be an action-packed October. It's going to go by quickly, but there's plenty of good basketball to look forward to because of the quality opponents.
And one thing we heard Mark Dagnall talk about when he was talking to us was those touch points, right? Those very valuable touch points. Summer League obviously offered that. Training camp will offer that as well. But going up against some of this really tough competition to open up the schedule, seeing how guys react going up against a Rudy Gobert, a Joel Embiid, a LeBron James, those are going to be really important tests and really great opportunities to see how this staff can kind of analyze some of their players and see how they operate in those sort of situations.
Yeah, I mean, this is all to come. And today we get to celebrate Media Day. We get to see the guys, as you're seeing on your screen, get all sorts of video taken for them for Bally Sports. What you just saw earlier was some sketches being drawn by a guy named Steve Hill. He's at Sports Tunes, and he's doing some little cartoon drawings of each of the players here, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to be exciting to see him put these together. There's just so much energy in this Oklahoma City community for the Thunder. You get guys like this popping up and who are just, you know, sort of filled with that spirit and want to do something to get that creativity out, and here he is creating cartoons. I think is that Muskie? I think that might be Mike Mascala there, or is that JRE?
That might be. It's hard to tell at the moment.
The hair is sort of similar, but I think the goatee, I think that might be JRE, Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
A lot of fun stuff happening on the floor right now, including getting these photos sketched in real time. That is takes a lot of talent, I have to say, right now. And of course, videos, all the things that the Thunder fans will see in arena, in-house, on the video boards, that stuff gets created right here inside of Paycom Center during media day, right? We were doing interviews, we heard guys screaming behind us, a lot of basketballs being dribbled at the moment. All of this stuff gets created right here during media day.
It's kind of hard to grasp just how much is going on throughout the entire arena, particularly here in the Arena Bowl. As you've said, there's a lot of different kind of stations, but just how important this is for so many different people in the organization to get what they need for the entire season. A lot of the stuff that you see on the Jumbotron and the video board prior to the game, that gets recorded here and then gets played out throughout the course of the season. So little stuff like that, which is kind of fun. And players talking to the local media, going and having their press conferences, and just an opportunity to meet them and to kind of reintroduce them to the community and to the city.
And players creating their own content. How about Darius Baisley walking around with a disposable camera, then Shea contributing to the content?
He had never seen one. I don't know how to feel about that, guys. I really don't.
It's rough stuff getting older, Chris.
Gosh.
I'm not going to lie. I had to go back into the register to remember how to use a disposable camera. You know, you got to.
I'm so thankful that
turn the
Paris at least
film
experienced that at some point in her life. But, you know, Chris, you're right. All the stuff that is being gathered here today, Paris, you know, we're going to be using some of the interview content that we get here today on articles and video projects for throughout the entirety of this season. This really can kind of sustain us and can keep Thunder fans engaged throughout the course of a long season that's going to go all the way into April.
Me and you will have content coming out right after this. Thunder fans at home, be sure to go to OKCThunder.com for all of that content, really throughout the season as well. And of course, you can always stay locked on the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Works, which is what you are tuning into right now. We are officially kicking off season 3 of the podcast today. Honestly,
how often is that going to be coming out this season, guys?
So leading up to the start of the regular season, we'll go once a week, and then once we're into the regular season, you'll be hearing from us twice a week, and really nice cadence early in the week and later in the week as well. So we now have a new guest with us joining us today, and that is Kenrich Williams, Kenny Hustle.
Hey, how's it going?
Here with us in your media day here. How's it been going so far? A little bit more normalcy, a little bit a more normal media day than last year's.
Yeah, definitely. Man, it's been going good. It's year 4 for me, so just a blessing to be here and be around the guys and y'all.
We appreciate that. Yeah.
Kenrich, you talked about it being a blessing. Obviously, last season was your first full season
Right.
healthy,
Yeah.
being able to play. You're coming into this season healthy. How much are you looking forward to being able to play in that regard?
Yeah, definitely, man. The most important thing is about the league is just being able to be available. You know, and I'm looking forward to it. This year, you know, my body feels great. I mean, I've been working hard, and, you know, I'm just ready. I'm ready to go out and compete.
Kenrich, your entire basketball career, well before you arrived in Oklahoma City, you've had a certain mentality, it seems like, a blue-collar mentality to do a lot of the gritty work, to prove yourself, to earn your opportunities, and to earn playing time. And it seemed like that happened again last year, and you really carved out a role for yourself.
Right.
So that had to feel really good. And to some degree, it's got to feel like you've maybe found a little something here with Oklahoma City that might not have had the same stability elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, my first 2 years, you know, I struggled in the league, just trying to figure out everything. But, you know, when I came to Oklahoma City, just first thing, very genuine people here, very, you know, very hard workers. The coaches, my teammates, you know, the whole front office, they believe in me. And, you know, that does something to you as a player. But, yeah, man, just trying to take it to another level every year. I know what I bring to a team, just my energy, you know, bringing that spark, the playing hard. You know, you're going to get that every game. So, you know, that's just what I've been locked into, and you know, hopefully I can keep that going.
Kenrich, that competitiveness just radiates off of you, and you walk on the floor and you don't flinch regardless of who's in the jersey opposite of you. How important is that to your game, particularly on the defensive end of the floor, as you continue to try to grow as a defender?
Yeah, man, it's definitely important. Just not to fear everybody. I mean, or anybody. There's talented players in the league, talented guys in the league. But at the end of the day, you want to go in and show, what you're made of. You want to go in and show, okay, he's good, but he can be stopped, or, different things. Like, my mindset is different. So, that's what I try to do, just as a player, just whatever my teammate my team needs from me, whether that's guard, playing hard, diving on the floor, anything. I just want to be available to them.
Kenrich, you're one of the lone vets on this roster. You, Mike Mascala, Derek Favors, who you overlapped with for a year in New Orleans. How do you approach that role coming into this season, knowing that this is going to be a young roster and you're going to have some of the most NBA experience on this team?
Yeah. It's definitely something that you take notice of. I'm playing with guys who are 19, 20. I mean, when I was in their position, the league wasn't on my mind. So, and the guys are very mature. These 19, 20-year-olds are very mature, and that helps a lot. Just being a player who is older. I am an older guy, but just knowing guys are kind of looking up to you in a way, it just makes you want to go out and do the right thing, just in front of the camera and off the camera.
I think we're hearing some of that youthful energy over there right now. Cameron, did you scream that loud when you were in that stage?
I didn't that loud. I did a silent.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask you about the nicknames. I mean, we've heard K Rich. Mark Dagnall calls you K Rich. We hear Kenny Hustle. What's the one that sticks with you the most?
With me the most is K Rich. I mean, that's what my teammates call me.
Okay.
Everybody around the organization calls me K Rich. Kenny Hustle just kind of it stuck with me from college. So I mean, it's nothing wrong with it, but
well, it fits your game very nicely.
Yeah.
It fits your game.
Yeah. So, but no, it's all good though.
But you kind of combine that as a little fire and ice of the defense. But
For sure.
you had your best offensive season of your career, incredibly consistent shooting the ball. You told us that last offseason you actually would go work out with your wife.
Yeah.
Is that the secret behind the 3-point shooting? What did it?
Yeah, that's still the secret. No, I'm still working. I work with my wife, but it's just being in the gym. I've been here the whole summer, or mostly the whole summer. So being able to work every day, being able to work with my coaches every day, and just getting that work in, man, every day, and then going out and applying it to the game. It's different if you don't do it in the game. So everything that I do and that I work on, I want to try to use it in the game and just try to keep that same mentality that I practice with and use it in the game.
We can call him Mr. Versatility, too, because there were some games I remember last year where there wasn't a point guard, and I felt like you were playing point guard, power forward, small forward, wing, you name it.
Yeah, no, they just asked me kind of what position I am, and I just told them positionless. Yeah, so
perfect.
Man, I just try to do anything, for the team. I pretty much know how to play I feel like I know how to play every position. So just being able to be versatile, it kind of helps the team a lot.
It just you talk about positionlessness, and you look across the roster, and all the big guys can either shoot it or pass it really well.
Yeah.
The guards are bigger and physical. What do you think the style of play is going to be like for this team this year? Are you already kind of envisioning a little bit of an identity?
I'm not sure how it's going to be. I mean, we've been playing, kind of pickup games, so you kind of get a feel for how it is, but you kind of won't know until the season gets here. But we do have a lot of guys who do a lot of different things on the court, but we're all like the same size, and I feel like we're all positionless, like you said, and just as far as like we can all do different things on the court. But we're all the same. You get what I'm saying? So,
when you got big guys that can pass and shoot like that, is that a cutter's dream? I mean, you're going backdoor. You're slicing through the lane.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. If you're playing with anybody who can pass, it's like I want you on my team. You know what I mean? So, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
All right, well, Kenrich, thank you so much for your time today. Enjoy the rest of Media Day. We appreciate you.
Maybe some new nicknames will blossom as the season goes on.
We'll do some brainstorming over here. We'll get back to you on that one.
But you're covered. You still got some good ones. Thanks, Kenrich.
Thank you, Kenrich. That was Kenrich Williams joining us. We are here in Media Day inside of Paycom Center. A lot of activity happening around and throughout the arena. We have learned so much today just from being able to talk to these guys and see them face to face for the first time. This is a great opportunity for really everybody to get the content that they need, that they'll be able to use throughout the season. I want to talk a little bit about Kenrich, obviously one of the lone vets on this roster, but he's got a great opportunity here. We learned a lot about his game last season, and going into this season, he'll have another opportunity as well.
No doubt about it. I mean, he's instantly became one of the most respected guys in the locker room, and it's just, he leaves it all on the floor. He's a guy that does an incredible job of letting you know that he's in the building every single night.
And just talking to him just now, it brought back a lot of memories of last year and just all the things that he did on a night in and night out basis. When a season was so hectic, he was a stabling factor. No matter what they asked of him, no matter what role he had to play, no matter what he had to do in a game on a given night, he was willing to do it. And it was fun to watch because he essentially forced himself onto the floor. You couldn't take him off. He played almost every single game. He did everything that Mark Daignault asked him to do, and now here he is in a leadership role, and he should be able to have more opportunity this coming season. It was really fun to watch last year. You can't help but respect a player like that that's worked himself into the position that he's in.
You know, I wrote a feature on Kenrich recently on OKCThunder.com, and one of the things that I had trouble remembering was because of, like you're talking about, Chris, he forced himself onto the floor. You recognized that he was there. He made a presence. I kind of forgot that he wasn't really getting much playing time at the beginning of the season. He was a part of what we referred to as the breakfast club early in the season. Guys who weren't getting the playing time, they used to come into practice early, get those extra shots up, and in that same kind of environment, he was giving that same energy that you saw on the floor every single night. So it was great to hear from Kenrich and see kind of where that hustle comes from.
And there's a lot of ad drop at the end of the season, right? A lot of guys, you know, having to fit in wherever they could. But you look at Kenrich Williams and some of the things that he did well, the three-point shooting, especially from the corner. As we bring in Royce Young again, and you look at Kenrich Williams as a guy that can fit in alongside Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Derek Favors and Alexei Pokazewski. I mean, these guys, he can be a very important contributor just in terms of how this team actually fits together on the floor.
Well, he's kind of like a five-tool player, right, Nick? I mean, he does so many things well on the court. And you mentioned it, Nick. His shooting has really taken leaps and bounds. And, you know, hearing from Kenrich talk about it last year, I think he credited a lot of the trust that the Thunder put into him, but also just kind of systematically, I think he fit so well with the style of play that the Thunder were going with. It was a lot more free-flowing. I think that he felt like he was in more comfortable positions to shoot, got a lot of open corner threes. And so you guys were talking about it just a second ago, but with a lot of these young players, you know, they have really good drive and kick ability. There's so many multiple ball handlers. So players like Kenrich Williams, you know, I think that in some ways, you know, you don't want to call them system players, but what you can see is guys being maximized by the system. And I think he's a great example of that, is that, you know, he's somebody that a couple years ago you wouldn't have pegged to be a 38% three-point shooter. Just statistically, that seemed impossible. But with the right opportunities and the right looks that he was getting, you know, he really excelled in that role.
Well, Royce, you've been in the press conference room. What else have you heard? What else has stuck out to you in the time that you've been in there?
Well, just heard
besides Shai's guns.
Yeah, I know. I can't get those out of my mind. You know, just in there with Josh Giddey and Poku. One of the things that really jumped out at me, Josh Giddey, and you guys heard it when you were talking to him here, is I believe he's the youngest player in the NBA right now. Is that or
well,
one
Poku
of?
had the distinction last year, so we need to double check on it going into this
Yeah,
year.
I'm almost positive that Giddey was the youngest player drafted.
I think he
this
is.
year. Yeah.
I mean, how composed and mature he already is. I mean, he sounds like a guy talking like he's been in the NBA for a couple of years. So, you know, for me, I think that hearing from him and just the way that, you know, he's in such a unique situation that he is jumping continents to come into the NBA as the youngest player in the NBA. But he's also in kind of a unique situation with his sister being here. His whole family's kind of, for all intents and purposes, relocating to Oklahoma. So I think just kind of for his personal infrastructure, it's going to really help him to kind of hit the ground running as an NBA rookie. Kind of a unique situation for him. So that's one of the things that he really pointed out while he was in there.
It just really makes you curious about how this team is all going to interact. There's a lot of minutes that are going to be up for grabs and a lot of opportunities for guys who have very different skill sets, but also guys that are versatile, and you could see them potentially playing power forward, small forward, shooting guard. You have no idea necessarily where these guys are going to be on the floor.
There's going to be some overlap from last year to this year in terms of themes in development, because so much of last year was discovery and opportunity and growth individually and growth from a team standpoint. And I think that there's going to be a lot of that again this year, with who's going to take that next step forward if you've been in the league. What rookie is going to stand out and make the most out of their opportunity and fit in? Where is this team going to stand collectively as a group? So there's going to be a little bit of overlap, and I think it's going to be something that we monitor individually and collectively as the season goes on.
One thing I've seen a lot and what we've heard a lot today, and you pointed to it with Josh Giddey, was just his maturity. And we saw that from really all of the rookies. And I'm interested to hear your perspective on this as you hear them in the press conference room. What stands out to you about their personalities and kind of their character as human beings outside of the court?
Yeah, I think that that's just kind of an organizational pillar within the Thunder, is that they're looking for guys that can fit really well in terms of the culture and the identity and what the values are, not just the organization, but the city and the state itself. So, I think that we're seeing that from a lot of these young guys, is that they can really kind of just pick up the baton and start running with it right away. I thought one of the things that was interesting, Paris, I was walking around with Poku a little bit earlier too, is that, a lot of these guys that are walking in, these young players, they haven't experienced even this, like a media day. And so just the unique experience that these guys are going through with what the NBA season looked like last year, in a lot of ways, this is Poku's real rookie season. I think in some ways, just based on what he experienced a year ago, no training camp with basically no practice time. That's something he talked about in the press conference room, is that he's got the ability to now practice. And that seems to be an important factor when you're an athlete, is to be able to practice.
Maybe.
We're talking about practice, but it is important.
Yeah.
And so I think for a lot of these guys, that is a big deal right now for them, that they're really looking forward to, as they kind of embark on this developmental mindset, is that they have the tools at hand to now develop. And I think for a lot of these young players, that's a big deal.
Well, Royce, you always bring such great perspective. We're happy that you're doing it for us these days. We were very glad to have you posted up in the press conference room.
here.
Thank you so much for your time today.
All
We
right.
enjoyed it.
Thanks for the
being with you
insight,
guys.
Royce,
Yep.
as always. And we really want to thank all of the players for coming through our session here today, our live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Works. The next step for these Thunder players is training camp. That begins tomorrow. After that, October 4th kicks off this preseason slate of games that will be against the Charlotte Hornets. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. You can always go to OKCThunder.com for more content, or as always, tune into the Thunder Basketball Universe throughout preseason and training camp. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to the Thunder Basketball Universe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, Thunder up, and catch you later.